can't not do the noises.
Jesus.
I'm sorry.
Jesus. Welcome, everybody. This time it was Jeremy's fault, not mine. Just want to set the record straight.
It was.
Just want to set the record straight. How are you guys? We may or may not have missed a couple of weeks. It was Jeremy's fault.
No. It was as usual.
We are 1 for 1 on whose fault it was for missing the week before and last week. So
we're also both very good at talking each other out of doing the podcast, right? Because we're always both so busy. We always have so much shit going on, and like not just work shit, but personal shit. You know, there's always. It seems like right now there's just a lot of stuff. So we're both very good at being like, hey man, you know, do you think we could skip tonight? Like I got this going, I got this thing, I got this edit I'm doing. And the other person never really offers a lot of resistance because they've got a lot of shit going on too. So it's always kind of like, yeah, we could probably skip, man, because I got this shit going on too.
Yeah. 2 weeks ago, I did not feel good. Like I felt fine, like physically, but I was tired. I knew that I was going to be just a fucking brick for the podcast. It didn't feel like it was going to be a good night, and I didn't want to just sit here as a zombie and let Jeremy go. Like, I mean, I normally do anyway.
I was about to say it probably wouldn't hurt.
It's like an 80-20 split between us talking, but I know that. I know that because I edit it, and I'm like, wow, there's a whole lot more green in Jeremy's waveform than there is mine. Dude, you can't.
I can't do it. I can't
do it. I know better than that.
You're right. I can't. It's impossible.
AB, yes, I know it did suck, man. I was so busy. I've been staying busy, like more busy in the last 2-3 months than I've been in my whole life. I attribute that to having a second kid.
AB,
there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that you guys are going to see very soon. I just showed Jeremy. But we're not going to talk about it yet.
Okay,
I'm so pumped.
Dude, that's gonna be a cool thing. I'll just say thing because that keeps it general.
Yeah,
it doesn't like give any hints. That is going to be a cool thing, and I think that's kind of. I'm not even going to say anymore because I'm going to end up fucking up and giving something away. So
you're going to be mad at me though.
Why?
This is my drink tonight.
What the fuck? We're talking about coffee, bitch. Cortado or Cortada? I think it's Cortado. It's my favorite drink.
Well, I screwed up earlier today I sat at a coffee shop, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I got to the coffee shop. I had my normal drink. I worked for a few hours. And then I'm like, wow, I'm still tired. And I had another coffee.
Oh, yeah. See,
I was like, wait a minute. At like 3 p.m. today, I'm like, oh, no. I've already had 2 coffees, and I definitely don't need another because.
No.
So. But I'm tired, so I need one, but I did not need one.
I purposely did not drink my normal, like normally about 3 or 4 o'clock, I crank out my afternoon caffeine regimen.
Dude, I was like
today. I was like, no. I was like, just drink some water. Actually, I went up to Buc-ee's and got some fucking a Big Red and what the hell was that other shit that I got? Hot fries, some fucking hot fries and a Big Red. Super healthy snack. Hot fries and a Big Red.
Nice. I will be drinking something. I know you're starting with your coffee, but you're going to switch over at some point.
At some point. Depends on how long it takes me to drink his coffee.
I found this at the ABC store.
Ooh, son. Anoa is good stuff. Some people call it Anoa. Some people call it Anoa. Everybody pronounces it a little different. I think it's Anoa.
I just saw it and I was like, I've not tried that one. And this is a big, nice gimmick that I'd like to try as well. So
it's good. It's not my favorite. I like it better than the 10, but not as much as Ugadal. Ugadal is still my favorite. I have not found one that I like more than Ugadal. Somebody said hot fries.
Even Wee Beastie?
Man, Wee Beastie, I don't like it better than Ugadal. I think I like it about the same as Ugadal. Ugadal is very good. Have you had Oogie?
No, I haven't.
Oh, dude.
The only time I've seen it. The only time I've seen it was in Albemarle, but I think actually this place had Ugadal. But I was about to say I chose this because they only had one bottle, and they had a whole bunch of other stuff.
If you can't find it, let me know. Ugadal's all over the place down here, and I can send you a bottle.
Well, this is the barbecue smoker, so I got roped in by the gimmick.
Oh, cool!
So inside, this is just a little chintzy thing, but you put some wood chips in there and turn your grill into a smoker.
That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's actually kind of cool.
That's what all this hubbub is about, but inside, underneath all that is...
That's actually pretty cool. I'm not going to lie.
I'm going to try it out. I don't have a grill, though, so I got to get a grill. I had a flat top, which that won't do any good in, but this is what I will be drinking tonight. I don't know if I should start with this or start with something else.
Somebody said competing with the Blade HQ stream. Ballsy.
Yeah, well, it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, we tried to avoid that with doing the changing our Friday podcast to the first Friday of the month, but theirs is on Wednesday. So sometimes it's just going to land weird and we're going to be on the same time as them. I mean, we try to avoid it, but sometimes it's going to happen.
So I should say, before we go any further, and we're not too far off the topic of this whiskey and this ABC store I visited. So they had this Anoa, whatever you want to call it.
I guess it's Anoa. That's how I always say it. I've heard people say some weird shit, but
they had a whole bunch of 1920. They had a whole bunch of 1910. They had a lot of everything. And
dude, that's your place then, bro. You need to.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how much they are like that because I've been there before and it didn't have much, but here we are. I don't know. I'll just have to rotate between them. When I need whiskey, I'm just gonna have to make like a day of trying to drive around and find the whiskeys I need.
AB just said, "Look at Taylor with some real whiskey." Hey, Taylor occasionally gets some real whiskey if somebody sends it to him. He is unfortunate in the fact that his local source is bad. It's bad. But if you found a place that's got some good stuff, then cheers.
Cheers. I'm going to be putting it in my leaf and barrel.
I appreciate that.
Bitch glass.
I appreciate that. Dude, I did fucking skull crushers today. And this tendon right here is already sore. So I know I'm going to be fucking hurt tomorrow. My shit is going to be hurt. I'll be walking around like a T-Rex, like this. My arms all jacked up.
Well,
you ever do skull crushers?
I don't know what that is.
Oh, Lord.
But I have been taking under. What am I trying to say? I've been just trying to get healthy. I haven't started working out yet. That's next. But I have started fixing my diet, and I am a little worried about drinking too much tonight because I've been cutting back on calories a whole lot. So I had a big dinner, but the big dinner tonight was much smaller than a big dinner before.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't had much whiskey or anything in a while.
Do you find that you eat in like more than you should? Like
not in the last 2 weeks.
No, but like in a meal. I find that like I don't eat until, they say you should eat until you're not hungry, right? I know this is supposed to be a coffee podcast and we're talking about eating right off the rip, but if you've ever listened to the podcast, it's fucking, we're all.
We just bait you in.
We have to have something to put on the fucking thumbnail.
Yeah, exactly.
but I find that I eat more than I should in a helping, right? Like they say you eat until you're not hungry anymore. I eat till I'm like fucking full, right?
So that's how I got to 250 pounds.
Right.
That's why
you're also like a stocky guy though.
But I still don't want to be 250 pounds.
No, you shouldn't be 250, but like you at like 180 would probably look fucking sick and weird.
Yeah. No, my goal is 205, 210.
Yeah.
Basically get rid of all this puffiness in my gut.
The gut's the thing, man. Guys hold it. Girls hold it in the thighs and butt, which I don't have a problem with big butts. I like big butts, and I cannot lie.
I've got big legs. My thighs are 28 inches.
God damn, dude. My waist was 28 inches at one point in my life.
Right. So I'm like very bottom heavy, but
when I was a young man and in good shape and real trim, my waist was like 29. So I mean, that's not too far off from my waist size.
Yeah, my thighs. So I have that on each leg. I have waists for legs.
Do you have thigh rub?
Oh God, yeah. Oh God, dude, it's awful. It's awful.
He's like, it's fucking awful. It's awful. It's awful. Well,
my calves are 18 inches.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I just got huge legs. But regardless, I'm trying to get healthy. I'm feeling better already. I'm down to 243 as of this morning. So dropped 7 pounds. I was a little over 250, so I've dropped a little over 7 pounds in a little over a week.
Dude, that's good, man. I tell you, we talked about it briefly before we got on here, and we were having some technical issues, and we didn't have a lot of time. But um, I know in general, everything in my body just feels better when I'm at the appropriate weight. Right when my weight goes up a little over what it should be, I notice that I feel like shit. Like I don't feel like I can move around as good. I get out of breath easier. My digestion gets fucked up. I get more acid reflux and all these fucking old man problems. I everything seems fucked up. And when I get down to fighting weight, everything just seems to run on all cylinders a lot better.
My back has not really hurt me since I started eating right.
Right, which is perfect.
And that's enough incentive.
Your back's
for
been
me.
fucked up for last couple weeks.
No, my back's been fucked up for like 2 years. And yeah, that's enough incentive for me to just keep going. Like forget forget the weight loss, forget everything else. My back keeps me from being able to do what I want to do. And I feel much better, even though I've only lost a little bit of weight. So I think a lot of it had to do with eating the right foods and cutting out whatever it may have been that was maybe causing my back to flare up and become inflamed or whatever. But
weight will do it. You know what else will do
yeah,
it? Tight hamstrings will do it too. I had a lot of lower back problems for a while, and I went to the doctor, and it was just that I wasn't stretching my hamstrings, and my hamstrings were too tight. And I started stretching those out because my doctor said that your hamstrings are somehow tied in to like your lower back, and they're always pulling, they're always putting pressure and compressing your lower back, and it's supposedly a pretty major cause of a lot of people's lower back pain is tight hamstrings.
Well, mine is
is fat.
Well, no. It's my fucking crooked spine.
Oh yeah,
that'll do it.
I know mine is fat sometimes, but I tell you, it's not just fat. It's not just fat though, man. Even when I was like lean, but I had more muscle on me than I should, when I was real big into like lifting a ton and I was all swole, as you would say, my body fat was probably only maybe 8 to 12%. So I was lean, but I weighed like 215 to 225, which for a guy with my frame was just too much weight for me to be packing around. And I felt heavy and like, I'd be like out of breath, tying my shoes and shit. You know, I'm like, oh God, because it's just my frame's not meant to hold that kind of weight. I feel good at like 190 to 200. I feel great.
Well, my goal in the app that I'm using is 205, and I am 38 pounds away. So to me, that doesn't sound like a whole lot. So
get it, bro.
I know I'm going to plateau pretty soon. But anyway, let's get to the fancy business. What knife is in your pocket tonight?
You know, I got a weird setup today because I worked out today and it was hot as fuck because I live in Florida and it's already 9,000 degrees here. So I just still have on like basketball shorts, but I went to Buc-ee's and I never leave anywhere without a knife. So I did throw a knife in my pocket, but it's a weird one. One you guys haven't probably seen.
Oh yeah. The old Tonto PM2. Yeah, I never got one of those. I was talking about them a few weeks ago though.
The old Tonto PM2. It's a good knife, man. I don't carry it as much as I should because right when I got it was at the same time I got like my ProTech that I really like and my Sabenza that I really like. And I got this at the same time that I got a couple other knives that are just fucking straight killers. So this one kind of lost the race a little bit, but it's actually a really cool knife.
Okay, you ready?
I hit it.
Ooh, boy.
Oh, the Chavez.
Oh boy, I got the big boy. I sent
you a response when you said that to me. I'm like, he's back with the Chavez.
Oh yeah, this thing, I never should have gotten rid of the first one, but the first one I had was a 228, so a little smaller than this one. Just fine. I would have been fine with another 228, but the one I had it had that brass inlay, and dude, that sucker was heavy.
Yeah, you said it was a fucking beef box.
I mean, this thing, look how thick it is. The camera doesn't really do it justice.
You know the only thing I don't like about his knives? I love everything about his knives. And you know what I'm going to say. Yeah, I don't like
pocket clip, man. He's coming out with aftermarket pocket clips.
Thank God, because here's the thing. If you're into that kind of vibe, there's a whole aftermarket of people that pay thousands of dollars for all that skull shit. And if you're into that, and you know, my fucking logo is a skull. So, I mean, I shouldn't talk too much shit, but I don't want like skulls on fucking everything, right? Like I don't want a skull on my pocket clip. I don't want a skull on my belt clip. You know, like I don't like the pocket clip. I just want my knife clip plain. Just
listen, take a moment to appreciate this.
That's good. It's got a good flap to it. This one doesn't do that. This one doesn't have a good, there's something different about the action on this knife that I can't figure out. It feels different than either one of my other PMs. I don't know if it's my PM2. I don't know if it's because the blade geometry is different, so the weight of the blade's different.
Oh yeah,
so
sure.
But it feels different.
The blade probably weighs less.
Probably because it doesn't snap out quite the way. I mean, it's still good, but it doesn't snap out quite the way my other PM2s do.
Man, this thing, I wish I could give you like a frame of reference for how thick it is.
With double C?
Yeah. This flashlight's not a good representation.
Like a pencil, like a normal number 2 pencil.
I have a pen.
Oh, dude, by the way, somebody sent me this, and I thought this was the coolest thing. I'm going to show you this after you get done.
Is that the Laguiole?
Dude, but yeah, it's a Laguiole, but look what it is.
Is it a cigar cutter?
It's a Laguiole fucking with cigar scissors on it.
I think I'm saying that correctly. I don't know. They sent me one too.
Yeah, dude. How cool is that?
That one's really nice. That's cool.
They sent me a normal log. I think you're pronouncing it right.
That's next to a pen. It's thicker than the pen.
Yeah, I mean that's thick. That's a thick boy. I don't feel like it's crazy absurd thick though, right? Like
you'd be surprised. Here it is next to the iPhone. The iPhone's in a case.
Is it super boxy in your pocket?
Oh yeah. Dude, look at this. When it's in my pocket.
Yeah.
Like it sticks out, man.
See, that pocket clip just reminds me of that you probably currently have like, I don't know.
A record?
There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with a record. I listen to record.
No. A record.
As in like
a criminal record.
A criminal record. I thought, well, no, I was going to say that you probably have Nickelback in your like cassette tape of your IROC Z28. Not that there's anything wrong with an IROC Z28 and a cassette tape, because I think cassettes are awesome and IROCs are badass. But you know what I'm saying, right? Like, It's got a certain look to it that I'm just not. It's not my jam, right? No offense to anybody out there that's into that thing. I know it's a big thing, but I'm not into it. I think Laguiole we're probably butchering that, and maybe somebody.
Sure I am. Here's a really good comparison. This is next to the knife that I was carrying the day this came in.
What is that? Can't see it. Oh wow, yeah, it's a lot thinner. Blurry. I can see how much thinner that is.
I know. Where's the focus,
dude? You look like me. You're having focus problems.
I am, dude.
I wonder how you pronounce that. Is it Laguiole? You got me fucked up on the pronunciation.
There we go. Look at that, Jeremy.
Yeah, that's substantial. I mean, here's the thing.
This is the Norseman.
I generally prefer a thinner knife. However, sometimes it's nice to have just a pocket tank, right? That
this is a tank for sure.
Right. Like it's just not for every day. Like I'm not going to put that.
Did you get a mini Adamas from Benchmade?
No.
Okay. The black one
in that box.
Yeah, the black one with the circles in the handle.
No, they sent me a mini, the Osborne.
Mini Osborne.
They sent me the carbon fiber bug out.
Mm-hmm.
This carbon fiber knife that looks like a modern day switchblade. It's long as fuck. It's got a carbon fiber handle. It looks like a modern day like switchblade, like Italian switchblade. And the I actually have a version from about 10 years ago. The how do you pronounce that? It's one of their Presadio. Is it Presadio?
I don't know.
It's a auto. It's an axis auto, right? So you pull the axis to release the blade.
Dude, this thing is a guillotine.
The Chavez.
I love.
Have you heard about these before they sent you one?
No.
I had heard about these before, and they're actually really fucking cool. If people have not heard of this, it's like an area in France that makes these all by hand, right?
Yeah.
And
hang on, I'll go get mine. You keep talking.
Yeah. And they're like very gentlemanly like pocket knives. Most of them they've got great walk and talk if you're into slip joints. But they sent me a slip joint, and then this one is, like I said, it's got cigar scissors on it, which is pretty awesome. But they have all this really cool detailing, and all these things are like hand carved and shit. Trying to get the focus, but I don't know if you can see that detailing there of like the B and then the hand carving in the spine. Like they're just really cool looking gentleman like pocket knives, right?
Dude, they sent me a big boy.
Yes. They sent me a bone handle, yeah, like that with a bone handle, and then they sent me these with the scissors on. Supposedly, a big part of what they market that shit for is, we were talking about this on the last podcast, is as like your steak knife. Like people use those for like food prep is a big part of what they're used for.
They make fixed blade table knives, is what they're called.
Sure.
But this is a comparison. Here's the Norseman, which is not a small knife.
It's a long boy.
It's it's longer than the Norseman.
The walk and talk is awesome on it though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was really impressed. I'd heard of these knives before, and seen people, and I had just never got one. So when they sent them to me, I was like, oh, dude, it's the walk. Listen, I mean, dude, it's a finger guillotine, and when you open it, it's the same way. It's like clack. I mean, the walk and talk is. Yeah, I mean, if you're into that kind of thing, if you're into, I know a lot of the guys that are into slip joints, the walk and talk is a big deal for them. Now, there's no half stop on it. I will say that. But it's got plenty of spring tension on that bad boy.
Yeah, somebody's asking for the name. It's Laguiole.
Laguiole, or I forgot how you pronounce it. Apparently, you got to be careful though, because there's a lot of knockoffs out there of them. And there are some versions of the knife. It used to all be made in one town, and now there are several towns in France around the area that make them, and some are better known for doing higher quality than others and so forth and so on, but they're all pretty dope. You just want to avoid the like Chinese knockoffs and shit like that. But super nice. And they even engraved my initials in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how they found us.
I don't know how they found us either, but I was pumped that they did.
Yeah, that's cool.
I appreciated it. I was like,
so I know we're off topic.
we haven't even talked at coffee yet, and we've been going for 24 minutes.
But something I think I'm going to do, because they sent this to me, is I'm going to go a full month with nothing but a traditional knife.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I'm going to try to carry either this or one of the other. I have a lot of really nice slip joints.
Somebody's saying Laguiole.
I mean, it's French. So.
It's French, so I'm sure we're fucking butchering it. But
so that would basically mean like this boy, which I love this knife, the old Ridian.
You've got some really good slip joints, though. I've got some.
Well, this one's a backlock.
I've got some nice slip joints. You've got some like next level slip joints.
Oh, God, I don't think I can Spidey flick this thing. Let's see.
Like I've got a Best Man 2. Hey. I got a Lion Steel Best Man 2. I've got a Benchmade. What's the Benchmade slip joint? My brain's farting right now. The Benchmade slip joint. Proper. What the fuck? The proper. I've got a proper. I've got these Laguioles now. I've got a few, but you've got like that one that was like fucking. It's like an $800 slip joint. I think it's that one right there, isn't it?
Yeah, the Birdvis, and then this Ridian was this Ridian was 700.
Yeah, that's I mean I have nice slip joints. I don't have nothing like that.
Yeah.
I always had kind of a fucking hard on for that one slip joint. I think you got rid of it. I think you sold it. The North or what was it called?
Northwoods?
I think so. The big Mac Daddy of a fucking, it looked cool as shit.
I don't know which one you're talking about. I've got a few. I have a slip joint with a lock on it, which is cool.
Can we talk about real quick? You're talking about losing weight and stuff.
Yeah.
And this is the worst time of year for me to try to lose weight, because this is the time of year that like I start smoking a lot of food, because we have get-togethers on the weekends and stuff, right? And like I've got my vaccine now. I'm going to get my second one in another week and a half or something like that. I get my second shot, and my wife's fully vaccinated. Most of my friends are all fully vaccinated because they work in medical and stuff, so they had to get. Well, didn't have to, but like,
yeah, I'm about to get vaccinated. They
so
just
like
opened up the whole state this week,
right? So like I can start getting back to having our barbecues on the weekends and stuff. Cause if everybody's vaccinated and we're outside and stuff, it's a pretty safe situation. Um, and there's going to be a lot of meat sweats, lots of meat sweats. You get the meat sweats. Is that just me or is that a thing?
I don't know. I just know that typically when there's smoked meats, I eat too much of it, so it's probably meat sweats.
And then you get sweaty afterwards. You're like, oh
Yeah.
God, fuck. It's like so fucking.
It's on the wrist.
Somebody asked me if I had any symptoms. No, I have had none after my first one, and my arm wasn't even really sore. I had a couple people tell me their arm was like really sore after they got it, and I mean, extremely mild soreness that I would barely have even noticed. Like it wasn't even as sore as it is after a flu shot. But everybody is different, right?
What's on your wrist tonight, Jeremy? I'm wearing my Christopher Ward C65 Trident GMT. That looks like your Seiko.
That is the old Seiko. Been wearing the Tudor and the Oris a lot lately, and I haven't been giving the old Seiko enough attention, and I felt bad, so I've been wearing it for about the last week.
Yeah, I've been wearing my Marathon a ton, and man, I just looked down and saw this thing. I put it on, and I really liked it. But Blue Shark is the company that. Did they send you a bunch of shit too?
No. I was going to tell you the other day, I was sweating my ass off because it was hot as fuck, and I had on my Oris, and when I took it off, there was a little green spot, and I was like, "Oh,
a little green."
There's a little girl. I was like, I got to tell Taylor. I was going to send you a text message. I was doing something. I forgot. I was like, I got to tell Taylor. That had never happened to me since I had bought that watch, but it happened a little bit the other day. And I thought about you because I'm like, I'm like, I got a little bit of the Taylor green, the green spot from the,
a little bit, dude. I get a little bit in 5 minutes.
No, so, I had worn it all day and sweat my ass off.
I went to my PO box since we're talking about company sending shit, and Blue Shark, who makes NATOs and a bunch of other watch straps.
You know, I had this grand idea that I was going to switch my Oris out because I think that Oris looks dope as fuck with the right leather strap. So I had this grand idea that I was going to switch the leather out on my Oris and wear it on a leather strap sometimes. And I was going to switch my Tudor out and wear it on a leather strap sometimes because I also think they look great on leather. Same with this. Man, I don't ever switch them out, dude. It's kind of a pain in the ass. And like, I just like bracelets.
Well, this one has a quick release bracelet. So it just boop, pops off.
Yeah.
And this is a quick release strap on here. So
it's just boop, boop. Now, I know some of the straps you can get or you can buy like quick release leather and stuff like that.
So they sent all these.
That's a fuckload of straps, bro.
It is. And the sad part is the only two I'd probably wear three are these three. These are all blue and black and Bond NATOs. And
what company is that?
Blue Shark. So this is a nice NATO leather.
Oh yeah, that is really nice.
This right here, this is a sailcloth or Perlon. I don't know what it is. I like it. It's like burgundy and tan, and then this green canvas.
I bet you that burgundy and tan might look good on your Oris with the bronze potentially. The tan and the burgundy, maybe not because the green face might be weird.
Yeah, I don't think so. Well, it's also the wrong size.
How is it?
They sent me most of those are 22 millimeter, and most of my watches are 20. And this is the only 22 I have. So they all have to go on this or not at all. But this I think would look really good. This burgundy with the black face.
I should try now that summer's coming. Try to put some like NATOs, some nylon NATOs and stuff. I don't feel like leather's the best thing in the wear in the summer because they get stinky as fuck because you sweat in them and they start smelling.
You look like Coyote Peterson out there.
Yeah, dude, it's not good. But
jumping in lakes with freaking leather cuff on his watch.
Yeah, dude, what's with the leather cuffs, bro? Like, again, no judgment if that's your deal. Like certain guys, they like the leather, but like it just seems uncomfortable. Like, you know what I mean? I'm all about comfort, man.
Dude, these are comfortable, but the really comfortable ones are elastic.
Yeah, you said those elastic ones that you had were super comfortable. Yeah. I've never had one of those. I don't know, man. I like bracelets. Yeah, I tell you, I have noticed though, it's Florida, and like I said, it's hot. It's about time to back out the old micro adjustment. It's about time to back out the old micro adjustment by a peg or two. As I was saying, you ever heard of Barkin Jack?
Yeah,
he makes straps, and I think he makes some of Cortado, which look really nice.
So this is the Christopher Ward bracelet that came off this watch. So as I said, quick release bracelet.
Yeah, I don't know why more companies don't do that.
But
oh, dude, I haven't lit my fucking cigar yet. What the hell am I doing? Oh yeah, that's like the you know what else? Another watch that has that is the Tudor, the titanium one. The what the fuck's it called?
I don't know. I think there's one. Is it the Pelagios?
The Pelagos,
whatever it is.
Yeah, that's the one. It's got the same thing. It's that spring loaded.
One of them is spring loaded and auto adjusts.
Yeah.
This one doesn't auto adjust. This one has a little tab that you pull, and then you just move it.
No, the Pelagos. That's what it is. The Pelagos. The Pelagos. It like you said, it's spring loaded and it just auto adjusts. Like
So this one it's got like 6 or 7 micro adjusts, and you just pull that tab and slide the bracelet in and out. Zelos, budget brand, they have this as well. Not super budget anymore. Well, they have some like $1,200 watches.
Here's the thing. If budget brands are doing it, budget in parentheses, because obviously
micro brand is a better
right. Like, yeah, better. I don't want to demean their clout or whatnot, but why wouldn't all the other brands be it can't cost that much money to put a little micro adjust in there and some spring loaded easy release clips. I mean, it can't add that much money.
This is my favorite bracelet by far. And you can tell you can tell how much I've worn this. Look how beat up that clasp is. Plasencia
Alma del Fuego.
Have you had any Southern Draw cigars?
Oh yeah, dude. I'm a big fan of the Southern Draw.
I have one at home, but I haven't smoked it yet.
The Rosa Sharon was really good. It's a Lancero, but there's I used to Quick Draw. Southern Draw Quick Draw. They're inexpensive.
I think that's what I have at home.
I used to get those for my budget cigars because you can get a pack of 20 of those for, I'm going to misquote the price, so I don't want to say, but I think they're only about $3 or $4 a piece, right? When you break down per stick, which you can get cheaper bundle cigars, but still $3 or $4 a stick is pretty inexpensive. They are excellent. I mean, they're very good. And they're like a Corona. The ones I had were like Corona, which is one of my favorite sizes.
Well, I have one at home that I haven't smoked. I haven't.
If it's a Quick Draw, you're really gonna like it.
I haven't had the LCA drop. I have a few of them at home, but I haven't smoked any. But one that I've really been enjoying lately is I'm gonna totally forget what it is now. Totally did. Yep, totally blanked.
Is it a Privada thing?
No. It's one that they had at the Cigar Loft when I went by.
Dude, by the way, while you're thinking about it, Privada's about to give away a fucking car.
Yeah, I saw that.
And not like a piece of shit car, like a fucking, I don't know how much they've talked about, so I don't want to give anything away if they haven't said. They might have already said, but like
I thought it was in the email.
It's like a $50,000 or $60,000 car, dude. I think it's like a brand new souped out Charger or something like that. Like they're giving away a fucking car. Like that's not like a small giveaway. You know what I'm saying? Like
I swear I saw something. I don't know. Let's see if
And I know I've said that I was going to give away one of the version 1 man cards on here, and I am. I already shipped those back to Chad. He's got them, but we're waiting on some boxes. Because I remember I told you you were just going to get the man card. We didn't have any of the wood boxes because they were extras we had. Chad was like, no, if we're going to ship them, let's just order some boxes. So when we do give the giveaway on that, you'll get the full treatment, the wood walnut box and the whole thing. So
yeah, it's a Dodge Charger.
We will do a giveaway on that. Dude, he sent me a picture of it. That bitch is fly. Like,
dude, I got to know what this cigar was.
What brand? Do you remember the brand?
No, that's what I can't remember.
Damn. So it wasn't an LCA release or anything. It was just a random cigar they had there.
Yeah.
Do you remember the size, the color, anything that could narrow down? I could think about.
It was brown.
It was brown, tubular shaped.
It had like a red and gold or orange and gold wrapper or band, if you want to call it that. Dude, I'm not gonna even try. We tried this on the phone. Remember that night we tried this on the phone?
Yeah,
and I was trying to get you to remember. I don't even remember what it is now. It was a Drew Estate or something. I don't know. Whatever. We'll move on. I'll remember it. Never.
I can't remember the fucking. I can't remember all the details, but when Brian told me they were giving away a car,
Perdomo.
Yeah, Perdomos are good,
Perdomo
man.
Habano Sun-Grown is what it was.
That's a good one. There's quite a few Perdomos that I've really enjoyed. They do some barrel age stuff that's really good. Some like bourbon barrel. I think they're bourbon barrel age and rum barrel age. They do some barrel age stuff. That's real tasty. He actually reached out to me a while back and wanted to do something, like be on the channel or whatever. And it was right in the middle of like a whole lot of shit going on. And I said I'd get back to him, and I hadn't had a chance to. But wow, dude. Wow, dude. Laranjas I had in one of my bundles that I put out with Pravada one time. A Laranja is a great cigar.
Well, how's about we
actually talk about coffee for a minute?
Take a little moment to talk about the subject of this podcast, just a brief moment, and then we can get back to fucking around.
Dude,
you are drinking a Cortado.
Cortado, yeah, it's like my favorite.
So what is it exactly?
It is, and there are different variations and varieties of recipes that people do, but in general, it is a double shot of espresso with around 1 to 2 ounces of milk, right? So where like a cafe latte or something like that, you've got like a shot or a double shot of espresso and then like 6 or 8 ounces of milk. So it's a very milk forward beverage. A Cortado is usually 50-50 milk to espresso or more espresso than milk. So it's a very espresso forward drink, but it's got a little bit of the steamed milk in there just to give it a little bit of creaminess. You know what I mean? And I think they're fucking delicious. I drink them all the time. I think they're great.
Okay, now that we got that out of the way, we can go back to talking about stuff people actually care about. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, what a lot of you, wow, somebody's really mad outside. What a lot of you probably don't realize or know or remember is that before I had the Best Damn EDC, I had a website called Best Damn Coffee, and I went hard in the paint on coffee, like hard. I went from 0 to 100 in a very short amount of time, and really got super into coffee, like focusing on different pour techniques. And
oh, dude, there's and if you go down the single origin hole, like that's a whole nother rabbit hole of shit that you can go down.
Varietals and where they like how high, like the elevation that they're grown in the soil.
Well, and how
the
they're processing tech,
and all
dude,
of it.
the natural processed or washed. Like that's I have found, by the way, that I think I prefer naturally processed coffees. They tend to be a little more sweeter. In my wheelhouse, a little sweeter, a little thicker, kind of just I don't know. I generally like the whole vibe of them a little better than the washed coffees.
Well, I have since forgotten a lot of what I knew about coffee because it's been like 4 years, and I have all the equipment in the other room. Actually, I have a gooseneck kettle with variable temp. I have a AeroPress and a hand grinder and a scale, and that I have like my whole coffee kit. The plan was to make this little barrel right here, the coffee station, and then have all the whiskey on the wall. I just haven't done that yet, but I love coffee, but I think I did to coffee what I do with a lot of my hobbies, and that is I turn it into work, and then it's no longer fun.
Well, dude, that's like the guitar thing, right? Like a lot of people have asked me, I played the guitar a long time ago, and then I had young kids, and I didn't play the guitar for years because it was one of those hobbies that got backburnered, right? So I didn't play for years and years and years. And more recently, I hung my guitars back up in my room so they'd be in my face, and I started practice again. And I've had several people ask me like, when are you going to do a video on your guitars or, whatever. And I'm like, I'm really trying not to put that in. I needed a hobby that wasn't tied into YouTube, right? Because with what we do, it is so easy for all hobbies to end up being a video, right? And then it kind of makes all your hobbies work.
See, I have the added benefit that we talk about whiskey here and we talk about cigars, but that's not the content I create on the channel. So for me, this is still just fun. Like we just talk, we just hang out, and I can still enjoy whiskey and and cigars. And technically, it's a business write-off because we're talking about it. We're producing content. I'm giving information to the world. I mean, not that I have a deep vat of information on any of this stuff, but
don't get me wrong. I wrote that guitar off when I bought that guitar and the new amp I got. I wrote that shit off because I truly plan, A, it's a prop, right? And B, I really do plan on, once I get back into the swing, recording some of my own music for my videos and stuff, like, you know, some guitar tracks. And like I had said about maybe, you know, doing the guitar lick for the beginning of the podcast and stuff. So I am going to use it for business, but I don't think I'm going to start doing any kind of reviews or anything on the channel, right? Like, maybe
I think if you can have like a tasteful amount and be a little topical on a subject, like talking about your guitar and maybe your history with guitars and blah, 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 but not it turning into, and this guitar, you know, like,
I'm trying not to go there because
that's exactly what I mean about like the whiskey here and the cigars. I can keep it topical and fun and not absolutely suck the life out of a hobby.
Right.
And that is exactly like, I've explained a little bit in the patrons channel in the Discord about the changes that I'm making to Best MEDC, and you know about these changes. I have given you my TED talk on the changes and asked your opinion at least 30 times now over the last year.
Me and Rockwell talked about you the other
day. Hey, he gave me a therapy session. Is that what he told you?
Well, he just said you guys had talked about it. He's like, man, he just needs to go his direction and calm down. He just needs to go his direction and do his thing. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, I've been telling that for fucking years. He didn't listen to me.
So I did it. I uploaded 2 Land Rover videos to Best MEDC, and people are like, this isn't EDC. And I'm like, fuck you, I don't care. But no, like, what I mean is like that Land Rover and overlanding content, I just want it to be fun. I'm learning stuff as I go, and I'm just kind of filming it as I go. And it's really more of a journey and a process. It's not like I'm an expert, because I sure as shit am not. That suspension took way longer than expected. The lift kit looks great, but it took a lot of effort and a lot of frustration. And
lift kits are a pain in the dick. Well, unless it's an old Jeep, it's all leaf springs, and then you just basically unbolt everything, put new leaf springs under it, bolt everything back up, and Bob's your uncle. But when you start getting into independent suspension, wishbones, and all, I mean, it gets you got angles that get fucked up, and all. It's a pain in the ass.
So I'm not trying to position myself as an expert. I'm just enjoying it and having fun with it. And the minute it becomes not fun to make content about that, I'll probably stop making content about that. And the content on the channel isn't going in the overland direction. It's going in the direction that I want it to, which is just more, right? Like, you're still going to get EDC videos every single week. That, no problem. You're still going to get, you know, the EDC weekly, not weekly, but you'll still get it, and product features and brands and all this stuff. But I'd say 1 out of every 3 or 4 videos is going to be just something different that I enjoy. Coffee. I could do a coffee video. I could do whatever I want. And that's.
Sorry, just keep talking. There were some questions. People were asking what I was smoking, so I was trying to, while you were just continuing, to hold it up so they could see it.
So that's all I'm saying is, like, I just need to have like one little thing that's not EDC to be able to continue doing EDC. So if you don't want to watch them, don't watch them, but they're going to happen regardless.
They're going to watch them, man. They're going to watch them. Follow you on your journey. Doesn't have to all be EDC. Fuck it.
Yeah. But to get back to
coffee. The guitars we talked about. That's going to be mild stuff, but I don't want to get it too much in the channel. But coffee, I do a lot of stuff on my channel, but it's okay. It's fine. I love coffee though. I think, and I don't know, I'm sure since you've gotten into cigars, I normally like to drink coffee. See, and you've probably noticed this since you started smoking cigars more. It might be a better pairing with coffee than it is with whiskey. And that's hard for me to say because I love cigars and whiskey, but I think cigars and coffee might even be better than cigars and whiskey.
The only reason I disagree is because I never smoke a cigar when I wake up like you do. Right. I have only ever had a cigar basically right before bed, and I drink whiskey. I don't drink coffee before I go to bed, so it's more of a timing thing.
Oh, dude, you should for sure. Or maybe, well, yeah, I guess if you're doing it at night, you're not going to go out there with a fucking stiff cup of Joe and right before you're trying to go to bed and then be like, "Hey, what's up?" But
Yeah, I had some leftover coffee, like iced coffee, and I had that with my cigar, and it tasted good. It was good, but at the
oh,
same
dude.
time, it was
And
like midnight, and I was drinking coffee. So
the thing is, you can get as particular about pairing cigars with coffee as you can about pairing cigars with whiskey, right? Because certain cigars go better with certain types of coffee. You get your single origin, higher altitude, lighter, fruitier type coffees. They're going to go better with certain cigars. Where you get your like more Brazilian chocolate noted kind of coffees, they're going to go better
burnt
with some of
shit.
your, yeah.
Sorry,
I don't know. I say burnt, like
I am a snob when it comes to light roast and maybe a tinge of medium roast, but
medium. Medium's my favorite. Light sometimes gets a little too fruity and tea like for me, and sometimes dark. I like dark roast also, honestly. I mean, depending on the coffee. Black Rifle Coffee does a coffee called Blackbeard's Revenge, I think is what it's called, and I love that shit. And it's dark. It's a dark roast, but I
okay.
usually prefer
Let me
medium. Medium roast is usually my wheelhouse.
let me explain this in the nicest way possible, Jeremy. In terms that you're definitely going to understand, because I'm going to compare it to red meat.
Okay. Oh yeah, I love red meat. Yes,
Love
please
red
go.
meat. Do you like a well done steak?
Well, I mean, a steak or
Yeah,
beef?
steak.
No.
Okay.
Absolutely
So
not.
think of
You
coffee
are
and
you
roasting.
are committing a fucking crime against humanity if you were cooking your steak well done.
Okay. I'm glad we're on the same page.
Mhm.
So take that same logic and apply it to coffee. So coffee, the more you cook it, the more flavor you are taking out of it. And you're replacing flavor with
With burnt,
char.
right. No, and I get that, but honestly, sometimes I'm in the mood for that char. I get your comparison. The only difference that I say your comparison is with steak, it's not just a flavor thing, it's also a texture and a dryness thing, right? Like a well done steak is tough, it's dry, it's not near as juicy and tender and everything else. It's not just a flavor thing with steak. The dark roast and coffee doesn't change the dryness. It doesn't make it, but sometimes I'm in the mood for that kind of like smoky burnt kind of flavor, right? With some cigars that goes really well.
Yeah,
Um,
no, and I can get that. What irks me
uh-huh.
more than anything, drink what you want. I don't give a shit if
Sure,
you like,
sure, 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 sure.
sludge in your coffee. Like I don't care. What kills me is mostly like older people who are like, I like my coffee strong and dark. And I'm like,
Light roast coffee stronger.
okay, so you really just like
Burnt.
something that tastes worse. It's bitter and acrid and like, oh, and you're thinking in your head because you've been told this for years that that's stronger. It is stronger in flavor, but in no other way. You're literally just suffering
Well,
for false advertising
you
that
know,
you
there's,
learned a long time ago.
I mean, that this isn't a
It's
universal
robust
statement.
versus
This is a universal statement because certain beans have more caffeine than others from regions and stuff, just based on where they're grown and whatnot. But generally speaking, light roast coffee has more caffeine than dark roast because you actually burn off some of the caffeine in the roasting process.
correct. But
So a
there's
lot of
another
people,
argument that you get more caffeine back when you start weighing your coffee, which most people
uh,
don't do. But when
uh-huh,
you weigh your coffee, your dark roast weighs less
true,
because
true.
it's been
You've got
cooked
more
longer.
water removed out of it, so
Yeah.
it's less.
So
Yeah,
your light roast weighs more. You end up getting less actual coffee than you do. So I think it really kind of balances out. There's a ton of pseudoscience. And that's one
tons.
thing I learned when I really got deep into coffee.
James
There's guys
Hoffman,
out
bro.
here like twisting their mustaches and talking about like fucking
James,
if you don't twist your wrist right when you're pouring the water, then
dude, that's why I wore my glasses tonight because I wanted to look like I worked at a coffee house or something. You know, all the
yeah,
guys have the dark rim glasses and the mustaches that do like the
yeah,
whole thing. No,
yeah. That's
I
like
just feel like putting my I actually just didn't feel
that's
like
a
putting my contacts in.
criteria for a latte art competition. You got to have facial hair that's like wacky and goofy, and then you got to
but
like salt bay everything into the drink.
but I honestly love all three. I like some things about light roast, and depending on the mood I'm in, medium is probably my favorite because it's kind of right down the middle of the road, right? Like that's why I think it's my usual go-to is medium. But sometimes I'm in the mood for like crazy dark roast. Somebody had mentioned in the comments uh our opinions on Black Rifle coffee. We have very differing opinions on Black Rifle coffee. I love it.
I haven't had it.
Okay.
And we've talked about that. From
Yes.
what I've read from other people who are into coffee,
Mhm.
it's okay.
If you're
But they
super
really like that dark roast, and that's the first turnoff for
if
me
you're
with a coffee
super
company.
well, they have light roasts. They have
Yeah,
light medium roast. I think their
but
best selling stuff darker roast because in general, like you were saying, a lot of your American palate, I think, leans toward the dark, right?
it's like that diner coffee, darker's better,
Right.
stronger, it's gonna make you more of a man. Like, it's just kind of fucking bullshit. Right? That's what turns me away from companies that market like that instead of being like, no, this one we roasted light because of this. And
Right.
this one we roasted medium because it had these notes that really kind of opened up when we roasted it like this. That is what I go for in a coffee company, not darker is better. Like that just
Well,
doesn't.
but in Black Rifle's defense, they don't advertise that. They
I
don't
know.
advertise darker's better. They actually advertise different roasts for different things, and they give you the whole flavor profile of what the light, medium, and dark
I
is.
th- I think they've changed with the, we'll say, growth and expansion of, it
The
was called
company.
Third Wave Coffee.
Oh, was it?
I don't know what they call it now. Not the brand, like the movement in
Oh,
coffee was
gotcha,
called
gotcha.
Third Wave, and that was when your craft coffee companies started popping up. Like Stumptown got really big, and then they were considered part of that. Blue Bottle. Um, this was all happening back in like 2015, 2016, but you had companies like, and especially Death Wish. I think they were one of the worst perpetrators of that. And they did like dark roast everything, but they were
Right.
also dark roasting because the coffee tasted like shit because they weren't using Arabica beans. They were using some, but they were using mostly Robusta.
Robusta, which
And
is a cheaper bean.
it's a cheaper bean. It doesn't taste as good, but it is high in caffeine. So
Mhm.
what they were doing is they were blending Arabica and Robusta, and they were putting a lot of emphasis on the high caffeine. And to make it taste okay, they just had to roast the shit out of it.
Right.
Alex just
Yeah,
texted me to tell me that I sound so elitist. I'm just
I
saying that I don't like when coffee companies really like lean in on that lack of knowledge about dark roast and
yeah.
strength of coffee, and they're really just pushing a flavor, which is fine. It's
Well,
okay if you like dark roast, but I hate that. I guess it's a factoid, I guess, that dark roast is stronger and gonna get you going a little better. No, the only reason that you're gonna feel the bigger jolt from the dark roast is because it's gonna take your like shock your taste buds and just wake you the fuck up because you're like, oh my lord, that's awful.
it's not all. Look, I feel like you
It is.
have
It's
I
awful.
feel like you have a particular opinion about the flavor profiles of dark roast, right?
Yes, it tastes awful.
Just like I've had a lot of people swear up and down that Islas are awful. They're like, Islas are awful. They taste like tires and rubber and medicinal. And who the fuck likes Islas? They're all disgusting.
That's
You know,
called being wrong.
well, but I feel like it's the same with the dark roast, right? Like it's not there's anything wrong with dark roast. Like I said, I like those flavors sometimes, but I do agree with you that I think people have a misconceived view of dark roast that they're stronger and that that's better because it's been roasted longer and all. It's just a flavor profile thing. You know, if you want light fruity notes, then you go for a light roast. Mediums kind of in the middle of the road, and then dark roast, they've burnt most of that light fruity shit out. And it's usually dark and a little bitter sometimes. If you like chocolatey notes, normally your medium or your dark roast is going to be where to go because you don't get a lot of chocolate in light roast coffees, right? So I think it just depends on what flavor palette you're going for.
Yeah.
Really.
Well, the other thing that really bugs me,
Starbucks roast the fuck out of their coffee.
that's exactly where I was going with that.
They roast the fuck out of their coffee.
I was about to say the one thing that bothers me more than anything else when it comes to coffee is Starbucks. Like as a company, as a whole, just everything that they have created, they have just perpetrated this incorrect information. Like their light roast, their blonde roast which is
medium.
a light roast.
It's a medium
It's
at best.
darker than most mediums that I drink.
Yeah, it's dark.
Their light is super dark for a light roast. And granted, there are some light roasts that are just way too light.
Yeah.
Like I've come across a few that are they're so light that the flavor is not even really like you just don't get much out of it. It's very tea like you were saying, but
right.
And
see, my wife does not like light roast
coffee.
My wifey does not like light roast coffee. She doesn't like any of it. I've given her no less than probably 10 or 15 different light roasts trying to get her to like one. She's hated all of them. She doesn't like it.
But there are some crazy people out there who drink green coffee.
Oh yeah, that probably tastes fucking horrible.
It's gotta taste like earthy and just not
weird.
Good.
Tangy, probably a little like, I would assume that's sour. I would think if it's green, I would imagine there's some sourness in there. I don't know. Acidic off. Yeah. Somebody said acidic. I would imagine the acidity is off the charts because usually your lighter roast coffees are a little more acidic.
That's what gives you those more floral and fruity notes.
My wife likes medium to dark. She's one of those people that like you would probably be like, you don't know the fuck, because she prefers a darker roast coffee. That's just because she likes that darker, smoky chocolate kind of thing, right? Like, and if you want that darker, almost smoky, chocolatey kind of thing, usually you're going to be like a medium to dark roast coffee.
So, I went to Hawaii a few years ago, like 4 years ago. I don't know how long ago it was. Anyway, I was in Hawaii.
They make good coffee. That Kona.
Everyone's like, get some Kona coffee while you're in Hawaii.
It's not fantastic. It's good.
Dude, it was awful.
You said it was awful?
Dude, I got a 1 pound bag, and it may have even been a half pound or 12 ounces. I'm not sure. Whatever size it was, that bag was $50. Wow. So I made sure it was like,
wow, dude. There's the button. Wow, dude.
Wow,
dude.
Man, I was like, this is going to be great. Dude, I brought it home, opened up the bag. The beans were sticking together. It was so oily. Like, they roasted the absolute fuck out of that coffee. Yeah.
The stuff that I've had that was Kona coffee, I don't feel like was that.
Well, I've had like Kona coffee, but that was like Kona. I swear to God, they just roasted that shit straight on the lava. Like, that's the only explanation. It was so like just oily and burnt. Like, no. Maybe it was a lemon. Maybe I got a bad batch. I did not enjoy it.
I like that. And I also like the Blue Mountain coffee. I think it was called Blue Mountain that I got when I was in Jamaica. I thought that coffee was good. I'm pretty sure it was called Blue Mountain coffee. One
of the coolest coffees I ever had. I don't like tequila, at all. I think tequila tastes and smells like dirty socks.
So then you really love
mezcal?
Yeah,
I like mezcal.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, it's that weird thing. It's like
it's even more.
All tequila is mezcal. All mezcal is not tequila. It's like scotch and whiskey, right? That's the relationship. Tequila is like scotch, and mezcal is like mezcal's to bourbon. You know what I mean? But no. So this was a coffee. It was a medium roast coffee that had been aged in tequila barrels, and it was good.
Awesome,
really good, and it smelled really sweet. Like, it wasn't flavored. They just aged it in the barrels.
You know,
that was a really cool thing, and that was very expensive. It was an 8-ounce bottle. It came in a bottle. Horrible idea. Do not store freshly roasted coffee in a bottle. Bad idea.
Well, it needs to off gas too.
It needs to off gas. So I get the bottle and I cut the wax seal with my knife. I push the cork. Okay, before I go any further,
like a champagne bottle.
I think it was $70 for this 8-ounce bottle.
Jesus Christ.
Half pound, $70. Cut the seal, pop the cork, and the coffee goes. Not just the cork, the coffee goes with it. Like half of the bottle. And I'm like, literally, I had to go put my dogs up and go pick up beans all over my apartment.
That's hilarious. That's awesome. Like, don't eat those beans. That's like a $5 bean. Stop. Don't eat that.
No, but it was really good. The coffee itself was very, very good. I enjoyed every last minute of it.
A lot of
have you ever gotten any like weird coffees like that, or like any geishas? Have you ever had a geisha?
Like a geisha girl?
Yeah. Yes.
No, never have.
Geisha coffee comes from, and I'm probably going to be totally wrong on this, Alex Mora, who is a Discord mod. He's in the chat. He's probably going to be correcting me. He's face palming through all of this because I am so out of the loop on my coffee knowledge, so rusty on it. But from what I understand, geishas come from the original trees. So there are some really old trees that are still producing coffee, the original trees, and those geishas are the coffees are from those. I'm probably wrong. There are two different types of geishas, and I don't remember the distinction between them, but they can be very expensive. They can be like $100 for a pound.
Yeah, dude, that's expensive. That's like that cat shit coffee.
Yeah. So that is Kopi Luwak, and it's not from cat. Well, it is from cats. It's from civets.
It's like a little marsupial cat-like thing.
That's actually very big. Okay. So Alex is saying I'm wrong. Alex, please correct me because my brain doesn't work anymore. Explain what geishas are.
Oh, you are.
But some of them can be very, very expensive, and there is a difference in the spelling of geisha. There are two different types of geishas. I do know that, and the spelling is very important. But
you're not talking like geisha girl. You're talking like a geisha tree.
I'm gonna have to Google it just because I know I'm sounding like an idiot right now.
My allergies have been wearing me out. My eyes have been dry and itchy for like 3 days. That's why I don't have my contacts in. I got my glasses. Like my eyes are driving me nuts. Sorry, didn't mean to derail you. But everybody's wondering why I'm over here rubbing my eyes.
It's from the geisha forest in Ethiopia.
Oh, there's a lot of coffee made in Ethiopia.
Though it is grown in several other nations, such as Colombia. Geisha coffee, sometimes referred to as a geisha coffee. So it's spelled two different ways: Geisha and Gesha.
I found that a ton of the Brazilian blends I really like.
Here's one from 2020: why a pound of Panama geisha coffee cost $1,029 and was worth.
Damn, that's too much money for coffee, bro.
There's a coffee shop that sells a $300 cup of coffee.
Yeah, no, I'm out, bro. Like, don't get me wrong. Look, America, I love coffee, and I do not mind paying a premium price for good coffee. I do not. I have an expensive coffee machine. I have an expensive fucking gooseneck kettle thing from Stag.
It's the fellow
Stag. I have an expensive espresso with semi-expensive espresso machine. Somebody had asked earlier when I was doing my collaboration with Whole Latte Love, they were putting together this new espresso machine that I was going to do help them do the launch on and stuff. I don't know, man. They've been dragging their damn feet. It's taken them forever. Like, and not all to their fault, with the pandemic and everything, there's a lot of supply chain issues and stuff that everybody's
probably the Ever Given.
It's a lot of tough shit, but yeah, I'm trying to.
And the canal had all of them on it, didn't it?
Yeah, I'm trying to get that collaboration out, but it's pending them getting this prototype of this machine out to me. But anyway, my point I was making.
Wait for it.
Oh, that was good. That was a good. Point is, I don't mind spending a premium on a hobby that I enjoy and do some of the finer things, so to speak. But a couple grand for a fucking pot of coffee like that.
That was a bag. It was a pound.
That's still, man, that's pushing it, bro. Like why is that worth a couple $1,000? Like, okay, I got a couple bottles of scotch. I got a couple bottles of scotch back here that are like $700-800, but that shit was in a barrel for 40 fucking years, which is why it was so expensive. Why is a damn pound of coffee $2,000?
Okay, it's 1,000. Keep saying it goes.
Okay, sorry. Why, well, 1,000 still. That's it's a
lot.
It's fucking coffee. What does it take? Like a couple months to grow? You pick the fucking beans and move on with your day? Like, I don't understand what makes it so expensive.
I'm trying to skim. I don't know. It's a geisha. That's all I know.
I don't understand that. Like, and again, I'm not trying to poo-poo anybody that
well, I told you about those cigars that are like $2,000.
Yeah, that's dumb to me too. And I'm a huge cigar nut, but I'm not paying $2,000 for a cigar. There is no cigar that's worth $2,000.
They sell them in a whole box. The box is like, what was it? Hang on.
It's just not worth $2,000. Like, I guarantee you that cigar is no better than a cigar you can get for $20.
Oh yeah,
it's just not.
Oh God, Gurkha Royal Kurdistan cigar at $1 million.
Okay.
One cigar for $1 million.
Okay, for $1 million, like Jessica Biel better have rolled that with her pussy lips or something. Okay, like that is ridiculous.
Okay. It is the Gurkha Royal Courtesan cigar at $1 million, infused with Remy Martin Black Pearl Louis 8. What? I don't know what that is.
I don't know, dude.
We're talking about $100,000 cigar box of Gurkha Black Dragons, $115,000 for a box. Grand Habano number 5,
dude,
El Gigante.
Bro, I'm out.
$185,000.
I'm out.
Jessica,
I said Jessica. I said Jessica Biel. Now people in the comments like, Jessica Biel, dude, she's so hot. But yeah, I mean, it's the law of diminishing returns, right? I think we've talked about this before. I know Pete's talked about it with cameras before on his channel. We've talked about it on the podcast with knives and various different things. Like, I guess if you're just fucking loaded and you've got nothing else to do with your money, then sure, buy a $2,000 cigar and $1,000 pound of coffee. But like, man, are they really going to be any different than a $20 cigar or
I have to
$30?
think that there's a marketing side to it, right? That they get some crazy famous person to buy it for $1,000, and then they're known as that company, but people learn through that they have other stuff. That's really the only thing that would make sense to me, other than just being out of touch with reality, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get it, man. I don't get it. I mean, again, this coming from a guy that obviously I do reviews on pretty expensive whiskey sometimes and expensive cigars and stuff. So I'm not poo-pooing people that like to spend a little bit of money on some of the finer things in life. But man, there's a fucking limit there where it's like, okay, let's calm down. Jesus Christ.
I am poo-pooing people who drink dark roast coffee.
See, I try not to poo-poo anybody. I joke around and bust balls about Truly and stuff like that. But like, honestly, I try to follow as much as I can the motto of like, man, do what you want. Like if you want to drink dark roast coffee and that's what you enjoy, then
but then vegans.
Well, that's because those aren't actual humans. Like, I'm just kidding. I'm mostly joking about vegans too, right? Like I bust balls. Like I said, I'm going to bust balls and give vegan shit and, people who drink Truly shit. But at the same time, man, if you don't want to eat meat, don't eat meat. Like it's all good. It's your life. Do what you want. If you want to drink Truly, fucking do it up. If you want to drink dark roast coffee, do it. If you want to spend $1,000 on a pound of coffee, hey, you know what I mean? Go for your shit. But I still have an opinion on the stuff, and I think vegans are trash. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I have some relatives that are vegans, and I love them very much. So I obviously don't really feel that way. But
so you didn't answer the question, and that's because we got side railed. Because
what was the question? I'm sorry.
Have you ever had like one of those, more expensive, or I would say almost novelty coffees like that tequila infused, or not infused, but tequila aged coffee was definitely novelty.
The most expensive, not most expensive, but the closest thing to what I would call novelty coffee, and I hate to call it novelty coffee because I feel like and some people had talked about it in the chat earlier, is Oak and Bond. And if you've never had that, you should definitely try some. I'll send you some, or I'll get you hooked up with Oak and Bond guy. They're really nice. It is
bourbon infused.
It's whiskey. It's whiskey. It's whiskey barrel. So he does Scotch, bourbon. I think he's had some rye. So they've got
that's what I'm talking about. That's good. That's not necessarily novelty. I call it novelty because like the one I got came in a tequila bottle. Like it was a little bit novelty, but it was done very professionally by professionals who love what they're doing. So it wasn't like a gimmick. Shit was aged in tequila or tequila barrels. So yeah, it's not. Yeah, novelty coffee is probably a bad name for it, but it's something like different and a little more expensive, and something that you kind of treat yourself to, and not you're going to drink.
And I'll say this about Oak and Bond, that I've talked very highly of Oak and Bond numerous times on videos. I love Oak and Bond. I think they make a really good product. Those guys are true whiskey and coffee nerds. So like they are in it for the love of the game. Right. Which is the kind of companies I appreciate. They're not in it just to make a dollar. Don't get me wrong. Everybody's in it for profit, or you couldn't be in business, but they're not in it just for the money. I've talked to that guy on the phone. He is a whiskey nerd. He loves whiskey. He loves coffee. Right. Which I think those kind of companies make the best products because they truly love what they're doing.
Right. It's like there's two big breweries here in Concord, They're more brewers, but two of the bigger ones.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so funny because one of them is more, a hobby for some guys who had some money. They make good beer. It's good.
Yeah.
I drink it. I like it. But
Right.
then next to them, directly next to them, like you could throw a rock and hit the other building. They're beer nerds. Like they are
Yeah.
beer nerds, and it shows. And you can see the difference in like the financial backing, but they're such beer nerds that it's working.
Right.
And they've been bottlenecked by the size of where they are, so you're expanding into a bigger building, but their beer is some of the best beer in the state. It's so good. I love it. It's expensive,
Well,
but it's worth it because it's so good.
And I just love, by the way, yes, my Scotch malt whiskey code is still good. I'm sorry. Somebody had asked that. I just like the companies that are true nerds and they're not just in it because they didn't go, oh, I think this is a hip thing that I could make money on. So I'm going to get involved in it and not know shit about it. Like I like the companies where they're true nerds and they're in it for the fucking love of the game. Right. And Scotch, or not, well, Scotch malt whiskey is one of those companies, but that's not, that was a Freudian slip because I was answering a question. But the guys at Oak and Bond are like that. I will say this. I would not drink Oak and Bond coffee all day. Like, because it really imparts a crazy amount of whiskey flavor into those beans. Like it to me, it almost tastes like you're drinking a fucking,
that's how that tequila coffee tasted.
Yeah, it tasted. I mean, a lot of times,
and it wasn't like so
like
much tequila that I was like, okay, I don't like this because I didn't like tequila, but that
no.
I had to try it,
But it tastes to me. A lot of those Oak and Bonds almost taste like you put a little whiskey in your coffee.
Yeah,
like it's that much whiskey
imagine.
flavor. It's impressive how much whiskey flavor is imparted on those beans by putting them in the barrel for a little while. But so it's not something I want to drink all day. But I tell you what, it is good for. I'm not going to drink it in the morning because I'm just not in the mood for that kind of flavor in the morning. But in the afternoon, with your afternoon cigar, you get you a nice pour over of some Oak and Bond. Shit, son. Or
I'd like to try it. I'd like to. I'd like to break out my kettle and have a pour over. I've not made a pour over in,
dude,
damn near a year.
The guys there are great dudes. I'll send you his information. He'll send you some shit. Like he's such a cool guy. He loves people that are whiskey nerds and coffee nerds, which you're both. So he will totally love you. I'll get you guys connected.
Well, the other coffee that I never don't like even considered trying is as we talked about earlier, the cat poop coffee.
Yeah, man, I'm not into anything that's been through the intestinal tract of an animal.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
So some people say, I mean, they being whoever say it's really good, and obviously there's some sort of reason for the madness, but it's apparently like it's becoming more and more taboo too because they keep these cats in these really poor conditions. They basically put the cats in a cage and feed them nothing but coffee cherries.
Yeah, that can't be good for them. Well, I think they eat that naturally, but I think they also eat other things, right? So like just eating that all day long is probably not good. They probably don't live a long life, right?
Yeah, there's no way they can. And they literally just feed them that. So they poop it out and they're processing. That's what they're doing. They're processing the coffee beans through a cat.
Yeah, that's just, I'm out.
And do you know how they put the stuff in the market?
Do I want to know?
They literally scoop up the turds out of the cat cage.
Oh, come on now.
And they put the turd in a basket and they sell it.
No, I'm out. See, I'm out. I don't want anything to do with that.
You can't clean it. Like if you clean it, it kind of ruins the point. Like
Nope. I'm out.
They're literally, they look like fucking paydays.
For some reason,
they look like paydays.
That's disgusting.
Hang on.
For some reason, a bunch of people keep asking pocket dump. I guess they were maybe over at Blade HQ and they missed the pocket dump. So a lot of people keep asking. I keep seeing in the comments. So I'm just real quick.
So it's Kopi Luwak.
PM2 Tonto.
And this is for you, Jeremy.
I don't want to see the payday, bro. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see a cat turd. I don't want to see a cat turd. It's what was the movie with the turd? What was it? What was the movie? Oh, it was Caddyshack. It was the first Caddyshack. Hell no, dude. Hell
That
no.
is Kopi Luwak coffee.
Nope.
For sale in a market.
That is a hard fucking Brad Smith. I wasn't even looking at his comment. I was saying it as I looked down. Brad Smith said hard pass. And I agree 100%. That's exactly what I was about to say. Hard fucking pass. I'm not eating that. There's no way I'm doing that. I wonder if that's like dangerous for pregnant women to be around.
I don't know.
Well, you know how like pregnant women aren't supposed to be around cat poop because there's like some microorganism in cat poop that can make pregnant. Nope.
It's literally
dude.
turd.
That one still has turd around it. There's some of those that like you can see the turd. Like no, bro.
They're selling turds.
Nope.
For crazy amounts of money.
Nope. I'm out.
Those cups of coffee can go upwards of like $100 for a cup of coffee from this.
Here's the thing. If they paid me $100, I wouldn't drink that shit. Okay.
Literal shit. Cause that's what it is.
Exactly. I'm not doing it.
What if, you know what? I got it. 2,000 concurrents. Jeremy's going to have Kopi Luwak on the podcast.
That's not happening, bro. I'm telling you right now.
We're a long way from 2,000.
You're a long way. I will smoke an absurdly large donkey cock like cigar online before I eat or drink cat shit coffee. That is fucking nasty.
Speaking of, can I get you? I'm going to do it.
What
was it called? Was it El Gigante?
The El Gigante. El Gigante. But, you know, some people were asking for some recommendations earlier, Black Rifle. It depends on what you're going for, man. Black Rifle offers a pretty good range of roasts and flavor profiles depending on what flavor profile you like and depending on what you plan on doing with the coffee, right? Like their AK-47 blend, I think is a pretty damn good, it's their espresso blend that's meant to be, made in an espresso drink, whether that's straight espresso or like we were talking about some of the other espresso drinks earlier. But I like the AK. That's actually what that Cortado I just had was. It was a 2-ounce shot of the AK-47 blend from Black Rifle with 2 ounces of steamed coffee or steamed milk. The Blackbeard's Delight is good if you like a super dark roast pour over. And probably my favorite one they make pour over is one they make called Just Black. It's like a medium roast. They suggest doing it in pour over as the optimal brew type. And I think it's really good. So depending on what you want to do and depending on what roast level you prefer, I would probably recommend AK-47 if you want espresso and probably Just Black if you want to do pour over. My God, that's a long cigar.
It's also like 70 ring gauge. I think it's 70 by 18. I think it's 18 inches long or 20 inches long, something like that.
Holy fuck balls, dude. Like I would have to cut that in half and smoke too, because the thing is, I think I would get out of breath trying to draw smoke through that big long motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Because like you'd be like,
it's only $50.
You know what I mean? You'd have to like pull on it like 2 or 3 times to get the smoke through it.
I was reading about this and it's $50 and it's the Woody by Oscar, and the guy who did a review on it, he literally cut it into thirds. And that's what it is. It's 21 inches long. He had 3 7-inch cigars out of this one roll.
Is that a leaf? Somebody said, is that a leaf by Oscar? And it kind of does look like the bands they put on those.
It's by Oscar. It's called the Woody by Oscar.
Oh, the leaf by Oscar is a really cool cigar, and it's actually pretty good. It comes wrapped in an actual like whole cigar leaf. Like the cigar's in there wrapped properly, and then there's like another cigar leaf kind of wrapped around the cigar. And I like to keep one in my humidor because it's a great kind of gauge for how the humidity in your humidor is going, right? Because if that leaf gets because it's just a loose kind of leaf, if it gets super brittle and dry, your humidor is probably a little too dry. If it gets wet and real pliable, then your humidor is too moist.
Can I tell you what happened to me the other night?
Moist. Who hates that word?
Saturday night.
Moist?
Yeah, I got moist Saturday night. Saturday night. It's the first time I had in a long time to sit down and smoke a cigar. So I go out on my back porch, I grab a little whiskey, and I grab my Perdomo Habano Sun Grown. Go out and sit down, turn on my heater, and I'm like, oh yeah. cut it,
whiskey in
lean back in my chair, and it just goes whoop, out of my hand.
What?
I don't know what
How
I
does
did.
that?
I have no idea what I did, but it shot out of my hand, hit the ground, and just goes. Actually, no. It didn't bust. It looked fine. Picked it up, lit it.
Boom.
I'm like, that's good. Draw, and I just go, and it goes.
Yeah. Dude, if you drop a cigar, and a lot of people don't understand how like if you drop a cigar, and that's why there's like this debate, right, on cigars on whether to keep them in the cello or not in the cello when you have them in your humidor, right? Because some people say they don't age as well in cello, but cello protects you from beetle outbreaks in your humidor. It also kind of gives you a little buffer if there's a mold outbreak that it won't get on other cigar. So there's all these pros and cons to whether or not to store cigars cello or non-cello. The thing about cello is it does protect them a little bit, right? Because if you drop a cigar, you may not even see the hairline cracks that the wrapper had, but when you light that thing and it starts to swell a little bit because of the heat, it just fucking that crack goes and it just cracks all the way up the cigar, and you're like, "Fuck!"
That's exactly what happened. It went, it popped, it audibly went, and I'm like, "Shit!" And it started burning the wrapper. So I had just drawn. And it started burning up the wrapper that had lifted up off the cigar. And I'm like, how do I stop that? And I just pushed the wrapper back down onto the cigar, and it snuffed it out. And it looked horrible. It looked like it'd been through hell and back, and it smoked like a dream.
Yeah, sometimes you can say
no
sometimes
problem.
It depends on how good the binder is, right? Like sometimes the binder is actually in really good shape, and that outside leaf is just kind of there just to hold everything together and to add some flavor, because the outside leaf is usually one of the more expensive, kind of nicer leaves on a cigar, the wrapper leaf. Sometimes your binder will have little cracks and holes in it, so the wrapper leaf is sealing all that up. But sometimes the binder is like in perfectly good shape. I've had the wrappers totally blow off a cigar because of various reasons, and I smoked it with just the fucking binder and the filler, and it smoked okay. You know, it just depends on the cigar.
So the benefit I think that I had with that is that the band on the Perdomo, so it was a short Perdomo, so the band's already big.
Yeah,
and that really helped a lot.
Helped keep everything fucking together.
And it didn't crack past the band either. So once I got to the band, I pulled it off, and it was like nothing ever happened. Yeah, that was just one of those moments where it's like, fuck, I just bought this, and it's like I don't know, $13-14 cigar, and it just exploded on me.
Yeah, dude. I've had some cigars explode just in general. You light them and they just crack, even though they weren't dropped. And I think that I haven't figured out exactly why that happens yet. I think maybe it has something to do with humidity.
I think it's a little too dry.
A little too dry.
I was running my humidor too dry, and every single cigar for like 2 weeks did that.
Yeah. I think it has something to do with how
I didn't realize I have that wood humidor, and I threw some Boveda in it.
I still got that fucking humidor for you, by the way, if we ever fucking meet up in person, so I can get this fucking thing out of my office.
I need to come get it, but I threw the Bovedas in there, and like 3 weeks later, I light up a cigar, and it did that. It cracked and just it did not burn. It was awful. And I went back and checked the humidor, and that Boveda was rock solid.
Oh, was it?
So
it
just dried out, and I don't look at the hydrometer too much on mine, because it's up and down and all over the place. And yeah, it said like 62 or something. I'm like, that might do it.
Yeah, dude. I have not looked, and some cigar people are probably going to be like, oh, and like pass out when I say this. I don't even have a hygrometer in my humidor. I don't even have one in there, because I have my shit dialed in, and I have found that with 65% Boveda packs. Now, this is going to vary for everybody. So just because I'm saying 65s don't work for me, don't take this as the fucking gospel and go throw 65s, because it depends on where you live. Florida is humid as fuck, so I don't need a lot of humidity in my cigars. I more often than not need to remove a little humidity from my cigars. They get too damp. They don't burn well, especially dark wrappered cigars. They won't burn well.
Can I say, I don't know what it was, but my last Privada Farm Road package, all of the cigars came like wilted.
Wilted? What do you mean wilted?
They were like pruny looking.
Well, that could be the wrapper. Some like wrapper leaves have a weird texture to them. I don't know. I have to see what you mean exactly.
Hygrometer, hydrometer, whatever it is. Get out of here, Steve. No, I threw them in my humidor and they kind of like puffed back up.
Yeah.
So it was weird. I don't know because they still feel soft though, like really soft.
Well, and the softness also depends on the roll, right? Some cigar manufacturers that it's a really hard pack on the roll. Some it's kind of soft and spongy. It just depends, right? But yeah, I find 65s work best. And I've had the same Boveda, and I don't have the normal Boveda packs. I have the Boveda boxes. They're like the big packs. I've got like 3 or 4 of them in my humidor. I've had those same ones in there for probably almost a year and a half, and they're still fine. They're starting to get to where I can feel some of the crystals forming in them, where I think probably within the next several months I might have to replace them, but they've lasted forever, and all my cigars stay.
You don't have to replace them. You don't have to replace them.
You can supposedly put them in water and all that.
Distilled water.
Here's the thing, man. They're not that expensive. Just buy some new ones.
Well, not for you, but I throw a 72 in my humidor and it lasts for 2 to 4 weeks and it's dried out.
No, see, these have lasted me years, so I'm not going to bother doing all that shit. Like I got my $20 or $30. They've been in there for fucking almost 2 years. I'm just going to buy some new ones, and they might last another year, man, because there's still plenty of liquid in there. It's just they're a little bit there. Where before the bags were super like breast implants, right? Now there's like they're a little bit less full, and you can start to feel some of the crystals forming in them where they're starting to dry out a little bit.
Like bags of sand.
Yeah, but 65s.
Such a boomer doesn't even know the reference.
65s keep my humidor perfect. Perfect. I don't have a hygrometer in there. Hygrometer. I think they're hydrometers.
Hygrometer. It's hygrometer. Hydrometer is for ABV. Steve is correcting me here.
Oh, okay.
Because I just said one of them and I was
gotcha. I've had the same ones in there forever and no hygrometer. My cigars are always perfect. That's why I like Boveda so much.
Well, I will say that I have switched to the tray with the gel that came with my humidor.
And I just that shit.
You do. You have to keep an eye on it, but I've been
because your humidity will go.
Well, I add a little bit of water to it every so often, and it seems to be much better than using the Boveda in that humidor.
It depends. It also depends on what kind of humidor you have to what kind of Boveda packs you use, right? Like I see Josh is in here saying he uses 72s. 72s in my humidor, my cigars would be super fucking wet and they wouldn't even stay lit. Right. But if you have a wood humidor that leaks a little bit, 72s are probably good because if you put 65s, your actual humidity would probably be like 62 or below in that humidor and they would be dry as fuck. Mine holds dead humidity. If I put 65s in there, the humidity is 65. If I put 72s in there, the humidity would be 72. And 72, if your humidity is actually 72 in your humidor, you can start to get mold problems. But most people's 72s works because their humidors don't hold humidity exactly, and they need the 72s to keep it at a reasonable level. So
I basically have my cigars not in this one. This is my knife case, but I got an small Apache case from Harbor Freight for $12, and I threw a 72 Boveda in there with those cigars.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. That's what I threw all of those number 9s in. Because I was so sick of my wood humidor going up and down. Like I don't care as much about like, $10 cigar busting on me, but my number 9s, I have a whole pack of them. I don't want all of them to be ruined. So I put those in there and if I don't open it, nothing changes. They're good to go.
Somebody said, "Don't whistle, Jeremy. You woke up my lab."
Also,
Here, boy. I'm sorry. I had to fuck with you, dude. I'm sorry. He said my whistling woke up his lab, so I had to fuck with him just a little bit. I'll stop, buddy. I'm just kidding.
Alexa, square root 72.
That's such a fucked up thing. Yeah. I got headset, and so Alexa can't hear anything anybody's saying except for me. Yeah.
I used to do that stuff when I did tech. I'd make sure I said, "Okay, Google," and something. I've got one in here. but I'd say something that would set people's off. It was fun.
Yeah, it's yeah. See, I just heard something go boom, boom, boom.
But oh shit, I can't remember what I was saying. You take it away.
But anyway, to bring the coffee back in a little bit, because we're talking about cigars, and I briefly mentioned it before, but I think it's worth revisiting. You should try to figure out a way to get some coffee and cigar pairings going, man. I don't know if you have time in the morning to go out with a cup and have a little break or something and have a cigar or whatever, but man, cigars and coffee are so good, man. They're so fucking good. That is my 2 cigars that I do not miss. I will sometimes not smoke, like I've told everybody before, I average at least 2 to 3 a day, but the ones that I always get in are my morning cigar with my coffee and my afternoon, evening cigar with a little pour of some whiskey. I get those in, man. I get those 2 in because those are my 2 favorite things to have a cigar with is coffee and whiskey. And honestly, even though I have a great love for whiskey, I think coffee could potentially be a better pairing with cigars than whiskey.
Do you know what I don't miss ever? Like I wake up, I get a shower, I get the kids ready, I leave the house and I go to the coffee shop and I get my coffee every day. I used to make coffee at home every day, and now I go to a coffee shop every day.
Mm-hmm.
That changed when I had a kid.
Does your coffee shop have an outdoor area?
Yes.
Take your fucking coffee out to the outdoor area now that the weather's getting nice. Take a little cigar with you. Have you a cigar in your coffee?
Well, Jeremy.
Yes.
I am about. I should just say it. I'm about to have a shop.
Even better.
I'm about to have a shop. I can't smoke here because this is an office building. I don't have ventilation in here. And there's actually down the hall is a fabric printing company. And if I make all of your fabrics smell like coffee or not coffee, cigars,
you're gonna have to figure that shit out.
They will murder me.
You're gonna have to figure
murder me.
You're gonna have to You're gonna have to put some ventilation and put a fucking seal around that door, like I did mine. I put a weather seal around the door and a little weather seal along the bottom, like a flapper. You know those? I don't know what they're called. It's like a rubber fucking thing you put along the bottom of the door to keep shit from getting. I don't know what it's called. Anyway, no smoke gets out that door. Because I got some ideas I want to do on the podcast. Alex sent me all these burritos, right? Which are like little individually wrapped, like. Oh, see if I can reach one from here. Oh fuck! Hold on.
I don't know that I can show you guys the shop. It's also not a done deal, but the lease is being drawn up, so I think it's pretty close to being a done deal, and it may fall through. So just understand that this is not entirely a done deal yet, but I'm going to show you one picture.
There it is. See, that is a burrito. That is a little cigar and it just says a number on it because it's just to identify what blend it is or what cigar wrapper leaf it is. And it's rolled specifically with all one leaf, right? So the wrapper, everything in this cigar is one leaf. Where like most cigars or all cigars pretty much are a blend, right? Your wrapper is usually one thing, your binder is usually something else. There's usually a blend of tobaccos in the filler. This is all one type of cigar leaf. So, and it's off one part of the plant. Like this is Jalapa Ligero. This is fucking A. Lajapa Ligero. I have a hard time speaking. But this is what
I didn't notice.
And this is what blenders use when they're blending cigars and they want to really get a taste for what a particular leaf is doing. So because if you smoke 3 or 4 together, you're like, fuck, well, which one is giving me which flavors, right? So this is a way for them to pin down what flavors they're getting from what leaf, and it helps them blend their cigars, right? Alex sent me a fuckload of these, and we were going to have Alec on, and I was going to send you some of them so we could have a podcast where we had Alec on and we went over the individual tobacco leaves and what flavors that individual tobacco leaves are adding to some of the blends that you really enjoy.
Tobacco.
So anyway,
I smoke a cigar. I taste tobacco.
In order to do that, you need to be able to smoke a fucking cigar. So either you're going to have to remote podcast from your place if you get it, or you're going to have to figure out your fucking spot.
Yeah, the acoustics in here would be really bad. But
yeah, you think?
Yeah.
I see.
Okay, so this was shot with a wide angle lens, so it's not as big as it seems, but it's 1,800 square feet. This room is like 300 square feet, so I could fit. I don't know how many is that. 6 of these in there. Yeah, I am super pumped to have a shop. This will be for EDC stuff. It will be for Land Rover stuff and things that I haven't really talked about that I'm not going to talk about yet that I can't really wait for. I'm really excited.
The lighting in there is going to be awesome and a complete nightmare at the same time.
Nah, it's not going to be a nightmare.
It's going to be a nightmare. You get a puffy cloud day, nightmare. Puffy cloud days are horrible for shooting with natural light.
Jeremy, it's going to be like vlog style. It doesn't matter if the light changes. You just change settings on the camera to accommodate. It's okay.
Yeah, but it doesn't work that way, man. You're in mid shot and a big puffy cloud goes over and your exposure changes and then something happens. You need to make a cut there. All of a sudden your exposure from one clip to the next is totally different. And it's a fucking nightmare to edit. Don't tell me, bitch. I've been fucking shooting with natural light for a long time. I didn't work in a cave for a year and a half.
I know what shooting with natural light's like, and you shoot a vlog, and it's okay. You just run with it. It's okay. You don't freak out about it. It's okay.
You know me and my exposures, man. It drives me nuts. It drives me nuts. Exposure changes drive me crazy. I hate them. Hate them.
Well,
but anyway, nevertheless, it's a beautiful place, and I think in general you're going to be able to get some really cool shots because natural light is gorgeous. It's just difficult, especially for photography when you're not dealing with those exposure changes and it's easier to adjust. Like, man, I do all my photography with natural light. Well, not all, but like 98% of my photography is done with natural light. It just looks good, man.
Yeah, it does. Most of mine's done with natural light now, finally. But what I get from the coffee shop every day, so you drink your Cortado or Cortado, whatever it is, and what else?
Cortado, I think
it's Cortado, yeah.
Those are my go-tos, man. Like either I'll get like just a pour over or a normal like drip coffee if I'm in a rush, like in the morning when we're taking the kids to school and shit and I ain't got time to be doing a bunch of bullshit. I'll just do drip, a Cortado. And if I'm in the mood, sometimes just like a double shot, like of just espresso, just straight espresso is good. Occasionally cafe latte or something. I don't get too much into the real crazy foo-foo drinks, like with all the things. Like, you know, I'm not into all that. Like my wife gets the other day, she got, what did she get? It was a shaken oat milk something. I don't know.
Alex gets an iced oat K from this coffee shop, and that is lavender. No, maybe lavender. Yeah, lavender, honey, oat milk, and something else.
I don't want nothing. I don't like flowers in it. I don't want no lavender in it. I'm out.
Yeah. So every single day, every day, if they have cold brew, if they haven't run out of cold brew,
I do like a good cold brew occasionally, especially in the summer when it gets hot.
I get a cold brew with 2 shots of espresso in it.
Do you like a nitro cold brew?
Oh yeah, I love nitro.
Yeah, nitro. But see, I go through
every day is that cold brew with 2 shots. If they're out of cold brew, I just do a 4-shot iced Americano. So 16 ounces, 4 shots in it. Just get it over with.
Matt says I should try pumpkin spice truly mix. Here's the deal. I'm not ashamed to say that when it comes out, I will get at least one pumpkin spice latte during the season. They're good. They're kind of sugary and sweet, and it doesn't taste a lot like coffee, if I'm being honest, because there's so much other shit in it, but they're tasty. It's not something I'm going to drink every day because it's a little sweet, but like, it's a nice little treat every now and then, you know, a little something sweet and just to kind of embrace the season or whatnot.
I'm digging this.
But summer, dude, that's good. I told the NO is tasty, bro.
NO.
But with summer coming, I will turn up the nitros. I even have a little keg to make nitros at the house, and I'll make some cold brew and throw it in there with the cartridge and make some nitro, that kind of stuff in the summer. over the past, several months has been winter. It's been cortadas, espressos, and just normal drip coffee. What's your go-to other than the cold brew with the shot? What's your what's the most common coffee drink that you consume?
That one.
That one. See, mine's probably a cortado.
So today, for example, I had the cold brew with the shots in it, and then they call it a 2-and-brew. I'm the only guy that orders it. But
is that the one that you gave to Rick and he thought he was dying?
I killed Rick.
He's like, you called the John Wayne or something, and fucking Rick, he's like, my fucking heart's palpitating, my hands are shaking. Like, I don't feel good, Taylor. I don't feel good.
If I don't eat breakfast and I drink that, dude, I will just about pass out.
Oh yeah, I mean.
But what I end up doing, the reason it's okay is because normally, this morning I didn't, but normally I'll start drinking it at 8 a.m. I won't finish that drinking till 2 p.m.
So it's like your caffeine drip.
Yeah.
Right. It's just like a
slow release. Yeah.
It's a slow release caffeine drip for the morning, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, but today, unfortunately, I stayed at the coffee shop, so I drank it.
And then fucking
here comes the train.
And had the shakes for an hour.
No, I had my avocado toast. So I go there and get an avocado toast with an egg on it.
Dude, can we talk about that for a quick second?
So good. If I don't get it at the coffee shop, I make it at home every day.
Dude, now I can't make it every day because I'll get tired of it. But do you do it on Ezekiel bread?
I don't know what Ezekiel bread is, but I have Dave's Killer Bread at home.
Ezekiel's similar, right? Dave's Killer Bread's good. Ezekiel is a sprouted grain bread, so it's a lot better for you than typical breads. But it's not worth a shit by itself. You make a sandwich out of Ezekiel bread, it tastes like you're eating fucking a sandwich between 2 pieces of cardboard. It's fucking horrible. But if you toast it and you butter it with some grass-fed butter, I'm gonna sound like a complete bouge motherfucker right now, okay? But I do the Ezekiel bread with some grass-fed butter, and then I put some crunch up some avocado with the everything but the bagel seasoning. You ever get the everything but the bagel seasoning from? Yep. Yeah, I put some everything, and then I put an over easy egg on top of that motherfucker. And
yep,
son,
every morning for the last week and a half, that's what I've had. But with Dave's Killer, or they use a homemade sourdough.
Yeah.
So it's been
homemade sourdough would be good too.
Somebody in here is commenting about me being on my 3rd pour of whiskey. You want to see this shit?
What the fuck is
this? This is what I was dealing with before I got here tonight. I don't know if you can see that. Breakfast 351 calories ish. Lunch 244. Dinner 693. Dude, I've had what is that? 1,200 calories today.
Dude, that's I think I'll be today.
1,200 calories. I think I can have some whiskey.
You can have.
My only problem is going to be when I stand up.
Somebody said Jeremy's a hipster. Somebody else said this is where he's going to tell us he's really a vegan. I can't be a vegan if I put an over easy egg on it. Vegans don't eat eggs, which by the way, I don't understand why vegans don't eat eggs.
Because you're against the will of the animal, or without the consent. It's all about consent.
Get the fuck out of here, man. Chicken can't give you a consent, and chicken can give a shit about that egg.
I'm just saying that's where it comes from. I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm just saying it's like a consent thing. Even if you use a byproduct from an animal that they don't need, you make something out of cow shit, it might be okay. I don't know. But
I don't think they're okay with that. By the way, grass-fed butter, somebody asked, is butter made with grass-fed cow milk, right? So cows that are fed grain and stuff, it fucks with the omega. It doesn't make as good of a milk, and it fucks with the omega fatty acid profiles. If they're eating their natural food source, which is grass, it has a much better, it's a lot healthier than your standard butter. Got better omega fatty acid profile than typical stuff. It's more of a health food thing.
Don't worry, guys. I'm not a vegan. I've had a lot of steak over the last week.
Oh, dude.
Steak and chicken and fish. Dude.
Bro, I'm about to talk about vegans. I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant for a quick second.
Can we not?
I got to, bro. It'll be a quick rant. I'll keep it to an under 2-minute Jeremy rant. What do you not want to go on? You don't want me to say?
You've had many rants about vegans.
No, I'm not going to go on a vegan rant. I'm going to go on a meat rant and how much I love meat and how much there is about to be, and don't tag that. There is, there is about to be a whole lot of smoked meat going on because I finally got in contact with Traeger and they're sending me a new smoker and I'm fixing to fucking smoke a whole lot of stuff.
So just to kind of touch on what I was talking about before with the best MEDC and the things that I want to do with this shop.
Right.
One of the things I'm going to buy, one of the very first things I'm buying is a welder.
A welder.
Yes. And one of the first things I want to build
is
my own smoker.
Don't do it, bro. Don't do it. Get a
Why?
pellet smoker. Get a pellet smoker.
Dude, I want to make my own smoker.
I know, man. I did that, man. I built like a whole fucking thing. Let me tell you. Here's the thing. Stick smokers is what all the guys in the barbecue, a lot of them call it a stick smoker. But what it basically is an offset smoker that uses logs. Some will say that that is the pure and proper way to do smoked meat. And I will agree it is. What I will say is for the typical person, it is a pain in the dick to smoke stuff that way. Because if you're doing a brisket or a butt where you're smoking for 12 or 16 hours, having to maintain that fucking fire and make sure your temperatures don't fluctuate and all that is such a pain in the ass. It's so much of your day. I can throw something on a pellet smoker. It maintains the temperature. I don't have to fuck with it. Some of the new ones are Wi-Fi, so you can see what the temperature is on that motherfucker from your phone if you leave the house.
Jeremy, I just want to build a smoker.
Oh, I mean,
I just want to make a smoker.
I mean, if you just want to build it for a project, great. And I'm sure you can. And I'm sure you can do some. Alex back. What up? I'm sure you can make some fantastic smoked meat on it, but it is way more difficult to smoke on a fucking offset stick smoker.
I just want to make a smoker.
Make it, man. They're super easy to make, bro. It's just basically like a big drum with a box on the side that you put fire in. I made one out of concrete and fire brick. You have to put fire brick in it because
I want to do a pizza oven too. Not that I need pizza in my life because pizza is my weakness. Pizza is like this gut is like 50% pizza.
Bro, if you don't want a gut, don't go watch the Traeger YouTube channel and watch a guy that I forgot his name, Matt Pittman, I think is his name. He owns a company called Meat Church. Okay. About
I don't know, 2 miles, probably not even 2 miles, probably a mile in this direction ish. There's a place called the Smoke Pit.
See, dude. See,
they have a sandwich. They have a sandwich. I swear to God, the sandwich is probably like 4,000 calories.
Is it brisket?
It's got brisket. It's got burnt ends. It has pulled pork, and it has sausage.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
And they bring it to you, and it's about this tall, and it's got 2 measly little pieces of Texas toast. And like, there's no way you're gonna eat it as a sandwich. Like, it's not a. It's a sandwich.
You gotta break it apart. You gotta break.
Like, you're gonna eat the sandwich with a fork. But
sure, sometimes you got to.
It's so good, bro. And they have a food truck. You ever had a Pig Mac?
Is that like a Big Mac with pig?
No, a Pig Mac is a pulled pork barbecue sandwich on Texas toast with mac and cheese.
Ooh, that sounds delightful.
And this is why I'm fat.
Well, have you ever had? I've never had it, but it was one of the recipes that Meat Church guy did the other day, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna be eating that." Have you ever had pork belly burnt ends?
Mm-hmm.
I've never had pork belly burnt ends. I've had burnt ends, which are typically made with like the tip of a brisket, or I think it's called the tip, is the big part of the brisket. Anyway, it's not the flat of the brisket. There's the flat and the point. They call it the point. It's typically made with the point of the brisket, but the pork belly burnt ends look fucking amazing, and I've never had them, and I'm gonna have to do that because I mean, pork belly, come the fuck on, dude. That's bacon, right? Yeah. And you're cutting that into big ass cubes and then smoking it, making it all rendered and just delicious, and putting a sugary sweet glaze. Oh, get the fuck out of here, dude. You know that's I'm starving to death now.
Okay, before we go any further, I know we're like coffee's gone. I do want to come back.
We talked about coffee a good bit.
I want to come back to coffee. I do because I have some questions, but
go. Shoot.
barbecue sauce. I know this is a big point of contention for a lot of people.
Coffee rub.
Have we talked about barbecue sauce on this before?
Have we talked
Maybe
about
we should do
coffee
it.
rubs?
We should do a meats episode.
Maybe
we should save this for the meats.
Dude, well, we can go over this. Trust me, I've got way.
And you know what's going to happen? You know what I'm going to do?
Talk about.
You know what I'm going to do? We're going to do a meats episode, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to change up our intro music, and it's going to be a remix of Zuck saying "smoking those meats."
Smoking those meats. Smoking those.
Yes, we're doing it. Okay, so we'll come back to that.
We're doing. All I'm going
to say is I'm from Eastern North Carolina, Eastern-ish. I'm from the middle of the state, sort of. But there's a huge divide between the state, Eastern and Western barbecue.
Oh, barbecue in general is regional as fuck, and they're diehard.
Oh, yes. Western North Carolina barbecue is like Sweet Baby Ray's sweet, thick sauce that you put on your barbecue.
Texas is like salt, pepper,
that's Western.
smoke.
I don't know if I said Eastern or Western. That's Western. Eastern North Carolina barbecue is like vinegar-based, runny, tart. So good. That's the real barbecue.
I do like mustard
out of here with your sweet barbecue.
I do like mustard-based barbecue.
I love barbecue. I love mustard-based and vinegar-based.
On pork, I don't love it so much on beef. On beef, maybe, but on pork, I really like that cut that the mustard offers. That kind of like vinegary cut that bite. I do like it a lot.
Yeah. Okay. So just to get back to coffee, and then we're going to wrap it up. I don't want to be on here for 3 hours again. We had a 3-hour podcast last time, 3.5, if I'm going to be accurate.
We got 5 more minutes and we'll go to comments.
Yeah. Okay. Last thing with coffee. What is your favorite way to brew from home? Favorite brewer. And then I got another question for you after that.
I know I do this a lot, but I'm going to have to split it to 2.
1.
It can't be. Okay. Is time not a concern?
Just 1. No concerns, just what is your favorite way to brew?
An espresso machine. I like espresso because there's so much versatility. I can pull a shot of espresso if I want that. I can pull a double shot and put it in with some steamed milk and make a cortada. I can pull a double shot in the summer, put it in there with some milk and some ice and make like a iced latte type thing. I mean, you can make a ton of drinks that way and they're all delicious. However, it is more time consuming. And the reason I was going to say 2 is when you're in a rush, if you have a really good drip coffee machine, actually, I got some flack in the coffee episode I did where I compared, is there a difference between drip and pour over? And people gave me a little shit because the drip coffee pot I have is a super bougie coffee pot. And it
Bonavita
or Breville? No, it's a Breville, but it's their precision brewer. It's like a $300 coffee pot or whatever, somewhere around that price, I think. And it is supposed to be the closest thing that you can emulate pour over with an actual automatic drip coffee.
Correct. So for me, absolute favorite way to brew from home is an AeroPress.
Really? I like AeroPress. Don't get me wrong.
I love the AeroPress.
I love AeroPress.
I love it camping.
It's not my favorite.
I love it camping. When I travel, sometimes I take the AeroPress. When I am at home, I use it. I have an AeroPress at my office. I love the AeroPress. I think it's underrated by a lot of people, but AeroPress, it's cheap. Anybody can afford one.
Can we?
It makes consistently great coffee, and there are recipes that you can. There's a bunch of different recipes you can follow and get different coffee.
Sure, you can. I agree, and that's one of the great things. But can we just say you cannot make espresso with AeroPress?
No, you can't get to the right amount of pressure.
People say, "Oh, you can. You just have to do it this way." There's a technique to make AeroPress espresso.
I did see this one mechanism where this guy had like a 4-foot lever.
What?
Pushing down.
Yeah, he's gonna blow he's gonna blow the threads off the bottom of that AeroPress because it's not meant to hold that kind of pressure.
Right. You can't you need like 10 bar of pressure.
9 bars.
9 to 10. Yeah.
I mean, I think technically, but then I heard, I think it was our boy that me and you both are big fans of. The British guy you have his book. He has a YouTube channel. You have his book.
I have no idea. You told me about him. I didn't know who he was.
But you have a book that's written by him. And you're like, oh yeah, that's the guy. I have a book that's written by him. I used to, anyway, I feel
Atlas.
bad. I can't remember that. I can't remember his name right now.
Coffee Atlas or something like that.
Yeah, but he wrote that book, if I'm not mistaken.
James or something.
James Hoffman. Yeah. Awesome.
But yeah, somebody's got this long lever that they're pushing down on the top of the AirPress with, and I'm just like, that's not gonna do it. Now
Yeah,
I have a portable espresso maker that allegedly I don't think it gets the 9 bar. I don't think
it's like a little tube.
There's a hand presso and then there's a mini presso. I have a mini presso. It's pretty cool and it makes a good cup, but I don't think it's technically espresso. But
I've never fucked with a lever machine. Have you ever fucked with a lever machine?
No, but my favorite is AeroPress. But what I tend to do when I make coffee at home, what I tend to do more is I have I think it's a Bonavita or a Breville. I can't remember which one it is, but I think mine's a Bonavita, but it does a shower head pour over into a Chemex.
Right. And there's
great. It makes a good cup, but it's not as good as if you make a Chemex.
It's not as good. Well, a Chemex is different than any other pour overs even.
I like V10, I think, about as much as a Chemex
because the Chemex, the filter's different, right? Yeah. So like it absorbs and it creates a brighter, cleaner cup than like a V60, you know. But I do really enjoy pour over. When I have the time, it's fun to do and I enjoy it. I think I've said it before. It's almost kind of like a meditative thing, you know, it's like relaxing just to take the time and go through the process and all that. But I still think espresso is probably my favorite.
Okay. So for the coffee enthusiast who wants to make better coffee at home, I saw a lot of questions about like K-cups and whatnot.
Okay. Throw those fucking things out the window.
Please.
They don't even get up to
like 195 Fahrenheit.
Throw your whole Keurig machine out the fucking window.
But what do you get? What gear do you get to make coffee at home? What's your recommendation?
The cheapest way to make a really good cup of coffee at home is a Chemex and a gooseneck kettle.
That's not cheap.
A Chemex is like
$50-$60.
No, you can get you can get the small Chemex. It's only for like a couple cups for like $20 or $30, and you can get a cheap pour over kettle for $9 on Amazon.
Okay, so my recommendation
for inexpensive. Now, if you're going,
you got to have a grinder. You don't want to get you don't want to get pre-ground coffees. You
don't ever use pre-ground. I don't use pre-ground coffee on anything. I don't even use that in my drip coffee pot. I grind it fresh and put it in my drip coffee pot. But I mean, I still think that's like a cheapest level of entry to have a really good cup, because like to get a really good cup in a drip pot. Now, here's a lot of people in here that are going to be like, oh, fuck you. I have a Mr. Coffee and I use Mr. Coffee with Folgers and it's fine. Go fuck yourself, you bougie cock. I get it. Right. But if you're really into making good coffee, a good drip pot, like how much was that pot you're talking about there that does the shower head and stuff?
Like $2 something, I think.
Right. See, the Breville is $2 something. You can get that one, what is it called? Like an aqua or a something form. What's
Techniform.
That? Techniform. Yeah. You can get a Techniform. That's a really good drip coffee pot, but that's $200 or $300, right?
Those can get really expensive. They make them out of like solid brass and copper.
Sure. Now you could go with like your suggestion, your favorite, and you could get a AeroPress for pretty inexpensive and a kettle.
$30.
But you can get my argument though is for the same price you can get AeroPress, you can get a Chemex.
I argue that the AeroPress is easier.
For sure. There's no technique with the pour and the fucking stuff.
But yeah, you can get really technical with it, but it's hard to mess it up. It's easier to mess up a Chemex than it is an AeroPress. Right? Yeah. So basically you can get the AeroPress for about $30. I would get a cheap digital scale for like $10.
Sure.
I would get a Hario hand mill. Don't get an off-brand hand mill. You can skimp on the scale, get an AeroPress, get a Hario hand mill.
How much is a Hario hand mill though?
Like $20.
Okay, that's not bad.
$20-$30, I think, max.
I will say for
you get a cheap one. I got a ceramic burr hand mill when I was just getting into coffee.
Fucking garbage.
Dude, I was like 30 minutes. Like, why would anybody ever do this? Just trying to grind my coffee. And then I was like, okay, that was like a $10 one. And then I stepped it up to a Hario. And
it's way different.
Dude, it was like, it's gone. Like, what? It actually ground the coffee. It's not a long time. Like when I go camping, I take the Hario and an AeroPress, and I can make coffee for a whole group, like 6 people, in about 20 minutes.
Right.
You know, it's not slow. Your light's doing some crazy stuff over there.
What did?
What, your light? The sconce? Is it a sconce? Whatever, the light behind your head on the other side. Yeah, that thing's like going crazy.
Is it?
Yeah, it was like
still
flickering and stuff. Not now.
Oh, sometimes when my refrigerator kicks on, I think the compressor draws a lot when that first time when the compressor clicks on, and it makes the lights do weird shit.
All right, Hario hand mill, AeroPress,
now
cheap digital scale, and a kettle. Get
real quick
cheap like electric kettles. You can boil your water in like a minute and a half.
Dude, that does boil crazy fast.
Literally, that's all you need. And you can make amazing coffee from home.
You can. My slight change to that, and my setup's going to be a little more expensive. The Chemex, it's cheap scale, cheap gooseneck pot. I am not big into hand grinders, although they are versatile if you're going to go camping and stuff. I like the what's that grinder I have downstairs? It's probably the most expensive, really good normal grind, not a hand grinder, but like electric grinder you can get. It's a what's the name of that company?
Precisio?
No, it's a Encore Barazza Encore.
Okay, so the Precisio is the one that you should use for espresso. The Encore is like the budget Barazza.
And it's not good for espresso, but it's for pour over and drip and everything. It's perfect. All the way up to French press.
It's a burr grinder with a hopper that you're going to spend probably about 120. I think
I've seen them on sale for like 89 on Amazon occasionally.
But if you're going to get a grinder, just don't get a blade grinder. That's the only recommendation I'll make about grinders. Like,
that's only good
if you're getting a hand mill, get something on brand like Porlex or Hario, and like a Porlex JP30 and a Hario, or a Barazza Encore. Get something on brand on the grinder.
Yep.
Do not get a blade grinder.
One of the most important things. A blade grinder is good for cutting up herbs and weed. That's it.
Yeah, don't get a blade grinder for coffee, please. Don't.
That's it.
So what happens when I get that question? I used to get that question a lot. What happens when you get a blade grinder? So a burr, you have conical burrs, and they are positioned at the same width apart all the way across. So when they are rotating, not on opposite directions, one's stationary, but when one is rotating, the coffee is being pulled down into it and ground at a consistent size. When you're using a blade grinder, it is a blade flying around in a hopper, and it's just chopping that shit whatever size and shape. You get some powder, you get big chunks. Like, so when you're actually trying to make your coffee, there's not a consistent coffee grind size, and your extraction's all over the place. Blade grinders, not good.
No bueno.
Burr grinders, very good.
I would say that, though, if you're looking for a good entry-level espresso machine, I did a video not too long ago. I am pretty much sold on the fuck, man, my brain is not working tonight. You would think I'd be in good shape because I've been drinking coffee and not whiskey tonight, but I think the whiskey actually helps me more than the coffee. The
sign of a true drunk.
The Gaja Classic Pro. It's about I want to say it's about $300 to $400, but for a good espresso machine, that is basically your entry level for a good espresso machine. Anything below that, sometimes it's going to be okay. Sometimes it's not.
Maybe I will get something like that for myself for my birthday.
It's small too. It's very compact. It doesn't take up a lot of room. And I think it's about the best one you can get bang for the buck. Now, it's not the best espresso machine you can get. Obviously, you can get into some rockets and stuff like that are way better espresso machines.
I'm just going to get a Slayer for the office.
I think those are like $5,000.
Slayer,
10 grand.
I've seen Slayers for like 17 grand.
Okay. So. I was about to say they're expensive as shit.
They're really expensive. Yeah.
Yeah. As soon as you said Slayer, I'm like, dude, I'm pretty sure those are like in like there's guys that use those in like competitions and shit.
Yeah. Slayers are really nice. I think they're a little overhyped, but they're really nice. Okay. We're going to jump into questions here because this is a great one. Fuck, kill, marry, whiskey, cigars, or coffee? Go for it.
Whiskey, cigars, or coffee? Which one? Pick one.
You have to fuck, kill, and marry each one. Like you have to choose which one you're going to do what to.
Well, you can't fuck any of those things, or kill them, or marry them. So I don't understand the question.
So the question would be: get rid of one altogether.
Okay, kill.
One is like a one night stand, and the other one's one that you're like stuck with forever.
Gotcha. Kill.
Wow.
Probably
Nothing
cigars.
like dead air.
Probably cigars. Probably cigars. Only because I could still smoke a pipe. Right. I really don't want to get rid of whiskey altogether because I really enjoy whiskey. I don't want to get rid of coffee because that's my lifeblood. I could never get rid of coffee. I would hate to get rid of cigars, but if I had to get rid of one, I would get rid of cigars because I could still smoke a pipe. One night stand would be whiskey and coffee would be Mary. Coffee's, like I said, it's the life.
Mine's exactly the same. I think that's actually probably pretty true for most people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I mean, cigars, take them or leave them for me. Like I like them, but
I love cigars.
They're not pivotal for me.
You guys know how much I love cigars.
We broke him.
You did. I was like,
I thought he might have lagged out again. I wasn't sure.
No, I was like, well, fuck, kill and marry. I'm like, fucking a cigar would probably hurt. Fucking hot coffee would definitely hurt.
Look at AB. He said you're out of the club, Jeremy.
Hey man, I'm sorry, bro, but like I mean, okay,
Alec, I was gonna guilt you over sending him some cigars and not me some cigars, but also you were in Charlotte and I didn't come see you, so I'm not guilting you.
I'll say this, Alec. If you had to make that choice, what would your choice be, buddy? Put it in the comments. I'd be curious to hear what you have to say.
Let's hear yours, AB.
Because I know Alec is also a huge whiskey guy. I don't know how much. I know he likes coffee because I've sent him some pictures of like cigar and like a Alec Bradley cigar next to my coffee.
Ooh, I would kill coffee. Plenty of ways to get caffeine.
Yeah, man, but it's not about the caffeine, bro.
I like coffee for coffee.
It's about those flavors, bro. I mean, don't get me wrong. Caffeine is definitely helps in the morning to get the cobwebs out, but it's about the flavors, man. Coffee.
Smiling Beard, are you guys going to Blade Show? So North Carolina just opened up vaccines. If I could get totally vaccinated.
When's Blade Show?
May?
Oh, fuck. No, I'm not going to Blade Show. I was going to try to go, but if it's in May, there's no way I can make it by then. I'll be vaccinated.
If I'm vaccinated by then, maybe.
I'll be vaccinated. I get my second shot.
It'd be so good to see people. I don't even care if I'm wearing a mask and, I don't even care. Like if I could just go into a room and talk to people for a day, 2 days, 3 days, I'm happy. We had plans to go last year. We were going to go together last year. We were going to share a bed.
Yeah. And spoon. We were going to spoon.
Yeah. I am the big
Alex said coffee doesn't pay my bill. Hey man, I get where you're coming from. I get it. And and like I said, I would hate to cut cigars because I love cigars.
Oh, June 4th, 6th.
I mean, that's not much better, but I don't know. I'll have to look and see what my schedule looks like June 4th to 6th. The thing is,
I will be in Virginia in June. I don't know when yet, but there's a off-road overland fabricating YouTuber who asked me to come up to Virginia and go camping in June. So I will be in Virginia then. So I don't know.
Well, and see, my problem is I'm going to be out of town in July. So I'm trying to pack a lot of shit in June so that I can have some videos to release while I'm out of town in July. So my June's going to be a little hectic. So I don't know. I don't want to have a big gap in videos again in July because I just got through a gap in the beginning of the year with my whole, family situation I had. So I really want to try to get everything caught up so that I can have shit drop while I'm out of town. So I don't know.
No, it is not last line of defense.
What's the last line of defense?
YouTuber. Somebody's asking who I'm going camping.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Is he the guy that
Mike from Last Line of Defense makes a lot of videos with Talon.
Okay, yeah, that's the guy. That's the guy I was thinking of. He does good stuff. I've watched some of his content. Yeah. Are we going to get more leather sleeves for that flight? Yes. I think they should be in any day. I know they already put in the order and I don't know if I should say this. It's in the early stages. So
Jeremy's making a butt plug.
a large one. No. They're,
I love it when I finish your sentences for you.
It's in the early stages, so I don't know if it's gonna pan out, but I think it will. I'm also gonna make a small run, or maybe do several small runs with Das Affinamir. He contacted me and was like, "Man, I saw the flask. It's really cool. I'd love to make." He has an idea for a stitchless design, and kind of the style of things he does, and maybe make some super high end ones out of like cordovan leather and stuff like that. And it would be a totally separate piece that you would sell on. I would sell. But I'm thinking about doing some like super bougie, like cordovan and butera leather sleeves that you could do as an add-on with open sea leather. So we'll see. But yes, the other one should be in any time now. I apologize. Sorry, go ahead.
3 hours later.
Sorry.
Teddy Gorman says, "Is there a knife Taylor loves as a fidget toy that he loves that isn't his favorite as a worker bee knife?"
Can I say Teddy's looking sharp in that picture?
Teddy is looking sharp in there. He's got a nice words into that question, but
he's got a nice suit going there. I'm feeling it. He's got the little he's got the business casual with the collar open and the nice fitted suit. I'm feeling that. That's a nice.
The old fidget factor. I think the biggest one for me. I think really there are maybe a couple in my collection that I don't really enjoy as knives, but as fidget toys, this has to be the most expensive fidget toy in my collection, man.
Number one fidget toy knife.
No,
Malibu.
I mean,
got to be the Malibu, bro.
The Malibu is fidgety. I'm just saying.
Fucking fidget. I don't carry that knife because I can't stop playing with it. Like,
no. That's not what I'm saying, Jeremy. That's not what I'm saying. He's asking, like, is there a knife I really like, but don't really see as a workhorse, but it's super fidgety? That's the Norseman. Like, this thing is super drop shut. It's so good, but I don't know how to cut shit with this knife. Like, I go to cut stuff with it, and you've got it's a tanto, but it's a really strange tanto because normally a tanto like comes out a little further. This is a very sharp angle and it's curved, and then this is a recurve. So when I go to cut something, 99% of the cutting that happens with the Norseman is done right here on this point.
Yeah, it's a weird shape.
It's very strange. Like, you can cut stuff here, you can push cut here, but it's just so weird. Like, you cannot do food prep with this knife. You just fucking can't.
No, that knife is more of a showpiece than a workhorse, in my opinion.
But I mean, it is super fidgety. I mean, look at that. It just.
Mine's the Malibu. That knife, I almost don't carry it because I can't stop playing with it when I carry it. It's just like, because I mean, it's so, you hit that button and it just goes. It is the most drop shut knife I have. I mean, it just.
This thing's pretty fidgety.
I thought the Bug Out was probably the most fidgety knife I had until I got the Malibu. The Malibu.
I just wanted to put this on the screen for you, Jeremy.
I know, you motherfucker. That's why I was ignoring you. I wasn't even looking. I was looking at the comments. Bring on the Cordovan sleeve. Yeah, man. Michael reached out and I sent him a flask so that he could prototype it with the flask. So I mean, he's working on it. So hopefully we'll have something.
You didn't even send me a flask.
I sent you a flask. What the fuck? Oh, I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? You sent me a picture with it the other day. Where are we at on this? Kevin Woosley, I think that's how you pronounce that. Where are you at on the whiskey and cigar journals? We're still, I mean, we're working on them. There's a lot of ins and outs and what have yous because of the printing and the journal. We were waiting on some samples to make sure that they were going to be big enough for the printing that we wanted. I'm still fine tuning the flavor wheel that I want to put in the front and stuff. So, I mean, we're there. My goal is to have the journals and the man card version 2s out before Father's Day. Oh, did you get yourself? Oh man, don't fucking get stitches on the middle of the podcast.
It's a little.
My goal is to have those both out on or before Father's Day, so there's some good options out there for you guys that want to buy stuff for people for Father's Day. So hopefully they'll be done by then. But that's where we're at on those. You did get yourself?
I did get myself.
See, that is why I say knives like the Malibu and the Bug Out and the PM3 that you have some kind of lock mechanism that your fingers
Okay,
are out of the fucking way.
I was being dumb. I
know,
opened
but
this. I pulled the lock with my index finger and it fell on it.
but you
Like
know what
with
I'm
the wrong
saying, though.
hand.
But you know what I'm saying. You
Oh,
have
I know what
no
you're saying.
you have no risk of that happening with knives that the lock is not
Okay, so what I
in
do,
front of
Jeremy,
the blade.
when I use a frame lock, when I push the lock, I make sure that the blade is going to fall on my fingernail.
Yeah, dude, but shit. Some knives might go through a fucking fingernail, man. There's some sharp ass, big, thick, heavy knives might fucking dig
I
into
got
your
some
fingernail.
thick ass fingernails, so
That's
I don't know.
So yeah. So that was the answer on the journals.
Okay,
Yes,
here's a good question. Here's a good question from Nick Retta. Hey Taylor, when you started getting into cigars, did you salivate a lot? Asking for a friend. Yeah, they make you salivate a lot.
Yeah.
So what I do to combat that is
drink whiskey.
Drink whiskey.
Or coffee.
Or coffee or water, even. Like, it's not as enjoyable if you just drink water with it. For me, it's fine, but for me, I enjoy drinking whiskey with a cigar, and that's just what I do. And I take a puff, I take a sip. Not every time, but for the most part. And sometimes I still spit because it's just too much. But yeah, Jeremy just swallows. Had to save that one for you.
I'm just not saying anything after that could possibly be. I was very quiet. Somebody else asked me, what about the Dark Horse knife? I think you mean the Red Horse Knife Works is I think what you're probably talking about. I don't know if that's going to work out, man. That's kind of stalled out because the design that we had put together that I liked, their engraver couldn't end up doing it. It was too detailed. They couldn't get it to look right.
It's too Mall Ninja.
And no, it wasn't that. They took the speed holes out. It was dope, man. If I could have dropped it the way we originally designed, it would have been the coolest fucking knife. But I guess the engraving was a little over what they could do well. So they tried to simplify it. And none of the new designs they've sent me have really been, I haven't been digging them, man. So I don't know. I'm not going to put out something that I'm not 100% I don't dig, right? If it's, I'm not going to be like, it's okay, let's do it. If it's not 100%, I'm not going to do it. And the first design they sent me, I was like, yes, fucking yes, let's do that. But then in theory, it looked good, but then they couldn't do it. So I don't know. So we're kind of in a weird spot on that one.
Old Teddy again, Mr. Suave here says, do either of you use many luxury pins? I feel like I always hear you discuss tactical options. I don't really use tactical pins of any sort.
I think he's probably talking about like the Mont Blancs and stuff like that. The really like,
yeah, I don't use a Mont Blanc. I don't use a fountain pen of any sort because I'm left-handed and it just doesn't work well for me because I push when I write instead of pull. So I have 3 pins in general that I carry a lot. This one I broke out recently. This is the big Idea Design TI Click EDC.
Fucking such a good pen, dude. I have my Peace Pirate Life version.
Look at that. Look at that. See that clip? Can you see it?
Oh, that's your topo?
Yeah, so this is the one I customized. I flamed the tip. I anodized it bronze, put topo on the clip. I think I will have to confirm with Joe and Chad. I think we're going to do these officially. Like, do a run of these. I think. Don't take my word for that.
A lot of leg there, bro. My shorts were riding up. You saw some.
Whoa. And then I have these as well, which both of these are about $300 pins. This is the Saga from Grimsmo Knives and a Zerk tactile turn bolt action short slim bolt action short. So I don't really have any luxury pins, but I mean, these are like $300. So I don't think Jeremy has any $300 pins.
No, man, I pretty much stick with Big Eye. Now, I will say one of my other huge pins that I'm a fan of that I use that Taylor does not like just because of what he said about the him. I just realized I hadn't had any fucking whiskey this whole podcast.
You have a Lilliput, don't you?
Yes, I have a Lilliput, and I love that Lilliput.
Yeah, so that's a Kaweco Lilliput, a little tiny little fountain pen.
The cool thing about it is it's so tiny. But when you screw it off and screw the cap on the back, it's like a full size pin, basically, right?
Yeah,
so
it's like a Fisher Space Pen gone fountain pen with a twist mechanism instead of just friction fit cap.
And it's solid copper. The one I got is a copper, so obviously it patinaed up, and me patina. I don't think I've said that the entire podcast. Patina. I don't think I said that. Patina. You almost got like a fucking beat going there.
So everybody's saying that we didn't mention patina at all this podcast. So if anybody's doing the drinking game,
they all just got drunk. But yeah, the two pens that I carry the most, and they're not luxury pens. I would not consider either of them luxury pens. However, they are nice. Is I carry the two big eye, both of them are brass Pete's Pirate Life versions of the big eyes, the Click EDC and the Pocket Pro, depending on what I'm doing. And then the Lilliput. Those are my pens of choice. By the way, Glendronach 15, get you some. Wait. Oh yeah.
How much is that bottle? $100?
I don't know that it was 100. Maybe 80 to 100 range, probably 80,
well, okay,
80 to 100.
So probably like 80 for you and 100 for me, because remember that Balvenie Caribbean cask that you loved?
Yeah.
And you were like, yeah, it's like $40 or whatever you said it was. It's like 90 for me. Yeah.
No, dude, this shit's delicious, man. It's Pedro. I always say this wrong. Pedro. How do you pronounce that? Let's see if I can see it. If you can see it on the camera. How do you pronounce that word?
From
no, motherfucker, above my finger. Is that, how do you pronounce that? Pedro
yes.
Mendez? Do you is it X silent?
I have no idea.
Anyway, it's a sherry cask.
I thought you couldn't read the word from, Jeremy.
Right. So this is a 15-year Scotch.
Teaser, but
it's a 15-year Scotch. Jimenez, that's what it is. I always fuck it up. It's Pedro Jimenez and Oloroso sherry finished, and it is a damn fine one.
AB said Taylor had one of the strangest nights of my life in Charlotte. Your fault. You're gonna have to call and tell me about that, because I don't want you to text it out, because I think there's a limit to what you can post on YouTube comments, but I'd like to hear it. I hate it didn't come out. Like it weekends have been basically, what happens is I work late Friday nights, wake up Saturday, we have shit to do from Saturday morning till Sunday night, and then Monday morning. Weekends are supposed to be relaxing, aren't they? Weekends are not relaxing.
They're not usually relaxing for me, if I'm being honest.
Oh my God. It's just like I blink and the day's over during the week, and I blink and the day's over during the weekend. And that's been the last like 6 months of my life.
I don't know if you would like this.
What's it like? What's the closest thing that you can think of that it's
I don't think you've had anything that's like, because you don't buy a lot of those.
I get a text right about the time we went live that the old Scotch Malt Whiskey Society may or may not be sending me some bottles.
All right. I just did a video, dude. I just did a video with the wife where we went over the different regions of Scotch, and Scotch Malt provided me with some Scotch from different regions. So
I didn't get to watch it. I've been busy, but
so we could kind of go over the flavor profiles.
Yeah.
And dude, my wife actually liked a bunch of them. She hates whiskey in general, but she actually enjoyed some of them. There's hope that I'm going to get her into whiskey yet. There's hope.
I have very little hope that I'll get Alex into it. If I open this bottle, she will leave the room.
Well, here's the thing though. Get her in some Highlands and some Space Sides. And I think, because my wife's not, she can't fuck with the Islas either.
Oh man, this is like my happy place.
She cannot fuck with the
Islas.
The Islas. She doesn't like them. But there were several of the Highland. There was even a Highland that had some smoke in it that was her favorite one. I thought it was a Isla, and then afterwards we looked it up, and it was actually a peated Highland. Yeah, dude, I think you just got to get her in the right scotches, right? Some of the sweeter.
She likes tequila, and that's about it. Tequila and the hazy IPA. She's very particular. But I think that's probably a good place to wrap it up, don't you think? If I sit here much longer, I'm going to pour another, and I definitely don't need another.
I mean, we can. I still got a bunch of cigar, and I just poured whiskey, so I mean, I'm good for whatever. But if you need to wrap it up, we can wrap it up. I'm good either way.
What do you got going on this week? Later,
Fucking Glendronach right here is what I got going on. This shit is delicious. I think Alec is a big fan of Glendronach, by the way, also. Right now, my shit's all fucked up because some of the videos I had planned, I think are going to get delayed. So I'm going to have to like reorganize my shooting schedule around that and put something out before I would. Some shit got delayed and getting to me in time to do videos and stuff. So I'm not real sure at this point. The goal for this month was to get out a coffee video. The supposed to be an unboxing of the new espresso machine that I'm working with Scott with Whole Latte Love with. But fuck man, they're delaying it again. I don't know if I'm going to get it in time to do the video, so it might have to get delayed. In any event, I won't ramble on too much. I'm not real sure. Just keep an eye out. Keep an eye on the channel,
guys. Jeremy, real quick, Sires.
Yeah, the point is, I'm having to rearrange some shit. I really need to put out a Leaf and Barrel, and I need to put out a Luxury Cigar Club video on the second channel, and I need to put out a review of the new Perla de Mar by huge fucking cigar company. Jesus Christ, what the fuck? Perla de Mar. Who's it? I'll tell you, my brain's not working tonight, Taylor. I've needed more whiskey. I'm hoping this is going to open me up.
It's not.
But yeah. Anyway, shit's fucked up. Keep an eye on the channel. There'll be some stuff coming out soon. I think we're going to drop the whiskey hats this month too.
Whiskey hats.
Yeah.
Yep. The not coin.
Yeah, the not coins. Not coins, because they specifically have a channel in the back to to fit around the rim of a Glencairn.
But what if I want a whiskey hat on this?
Yeah, they won't fit that, and they won't fit these like Scotch malt, like really thin tulipy Scotch glasses. We made them specifically to fit Glencairns because that's what 90% of people drink stuff out of when they're doing tastings and stuff. And these are really for tastings, right? Is what they're for. They're not really for like if you're just sipping bourbon or Scotch at night. They're for when you're doing tastings to keep the vapors in and stuff. They also
King Thor said, Taylor, did you finish the bottle I sent? I did not. So you sent the Highland Park Magnus. No, I did not finish it. Probably about halfway done. It's pretty good. It's not my favorite, but it's pretty good. And then one last question, because Teddy is just killing it with the good questions tonight. What's happening with the Sierra AT4? Are you getting rid of it? I've never been a truck guy, but have been considering maybe. I'm so torn on it. I love that truck. I literally have zero complaints about that vehicle. None. I love everything about it other than the bed. And I have the non-standard bed. So I've been thinking about selling it and buying another one, which is a horrible idea, but I bought it for a reason and I can't use it for the reason I bought it. So maybe I'm going to get rid of it. I've been thinking about selling it. If I sell it privately, I can, come out okay. Not sure. It's a tough one. I love the truck a ton. I really, really love it. But the bed really keeps me from doing the whole thing that I bought the truck for. So
that's a bummer.
That's why I bought a Land Rover, and the Land Rover is great. I actually drive the Land Rover almost everywhere now. I just really appreciate, like, there's something to be said for driving something that's old. Like something that drives like an old truck. Like you drive this thing and it doesn't even feel like a 2000 model vehicle. It feels like an old, like 50s, not 50s, like a good like 60s model truck is what it drives like a little more smooth, and it's got power steering and stuff, but it's that visceral. Like you crank it up. And I think part of that is the engine. The engine is from the 60s. Like they obviously built it in 2000s, but the design for that specific engine from Bosch was from the 60s, and it's really solid. But when you crank that thing up, it sounds like an old vehicle. It's like an old V8, and I love it. Anyway, that's not part of the question. Point is, might get rid of the AT4. I have considered, but haven't pulled the trigger, obviously, on getting rid of the AT4 and maybe buying a Raptor. Maybe. I really like the Raptors, but also they're expensive and they get absolute trash for fuel economy. And I'm not sure if you can spec a Raptor with a diesel. Like, if that's the case,
I don't think you can.
I know you can spec an F-150 with a diesel now.
You can. I don't think you
It's
can
like
spec a Raptor.
$6,000 extra, but
I think all the Raptors are those turbocharged, different versions of turbocharged engines.
Dual turbocharged V6, but
when they got that new V8 turbocharged coming out, that is just a fucking beef box.
Man, if I could get a diesel Raptor, could I please get a diesel Raptor?
Somebody has asked like 3 times, so I want to answer this real quick. I'm sorry, Chad, I'm not interrupting. You can give it. Somebody asked, what kind of espresso machine do I have? It is a Gaja Classic Pro. We talked about it a little bit earlier.
The TRX is so much better. Yeah, it's also $90-some thousand. Like, Jesus.
Yeah, dude.
Like, the AT4 was stretching it for me, and I got a really good deal, like a better deal than most people can get on the AT4 because I have a few connections at GM. And
what's a Raptor go for?
Okay, so when I was looking, like a base Raptor is like upper 60s, maybe low 70s. If you want like a loaded Raptor, you're looking at almost 90 grand.
Hey, see, I can't go 90 on a truck, bro. I just can't do it.
And if you want a TRX, I'm pretty sure the TRX starts around 90.
Yeah, I can't prove it right now.
Yeah.
I can do 50s, maybe even 60s. You start getting into 70s and 80s and 90s.
I'll put it this way.
That is a lot.
I paid like I think around 15 or 12,000 less than sticker on my AT4. I got a really good deal on it. That's why I went with it.
Yeah, see, dude, you start getting into those price brackets, man. It's like, ugh, that's just so much for a truck. That's
my AT4 was in low 50s.
I was thinking, and you were telling me to get the GMC, but I really like the Chevy Trail Boss. I dig the Trail Boss.
AT4 is the Trail Boss, but better.
I mean,
I don't like the grills. I don't like the front end and the grills on a Chevy. I just don't.
I like them.
I like the boxy, like semi look on the AT4.
No, I feel you. I like them both. I would have to go drive them both and just kind of see how I feel about them. They're technically the same truck with a different trim package. So
somebody says you can spec a Raptor with a diesel, but that would also put it in like the 90K bracket. If you got a loaded Raptor with a diesel,
I've never seen it. I looked at him at one point. I didn't see the diesel option, but I also didn't dig too.
You'd probably have to order it if I were to guess.
He could be right. I just can't do it.
You know what I would do? Like what I would absolutely love to do? More than anything, I think I would rather sell my AT4 and put a fuck ton of money into the Land Rover. I know that sounds so stupid, but I'm going to LS swap the Land Rover. I am going to swap it. I'm putting an engine. I'm swapping the engine. It may be a turbo diesel, which would be great, or an LS swap. There's an LS swap kit. You literally source the engine, get the kit, and you have to buy it's like maybe 10 different parts that you have to buy. And you fucking bolt it together. The only welding you have to do is for the exhaust. That's it. It's like bolt on. And you can have like 500 horsepower in a Land Rover and like 18 miles to the gallon. Versus right now, I think it's like 200-ish horsepower. Super torquey, but low horsepower. Like I'm getting like 11 miles to the gallon in it. It takes premium. It's brutal. It's so bad. So yeah, I would almost rather just put a lot of money into the Land Rover and make it into something super sick and get rid of the AT4. The problem with that is I need car seats and the Land Rover doesn't even have car seat anchors. The rear seat belts don't lock, so you can't lock down a car seat. You can't put a car seat in it. So not practical. The only way that would work is if I sold the AT4, bought Alex a van, like a minivan, and then made the Land Rover into what I would be fine driving just the Land Rover if I could really fix it up nice, like with a head unit, and actually had, radio. I have no radio. It is a motor and some wheels and a seat and a steering wheel. Like, that's what the Land Rover is right now.
No minivan, bro. No minivans. Don't do it.
I don't want a minivan.
Don't do it.
I told Alex, I said, if we get a minivan, you were driving everywhere. Everywhere. I'm not driving it. I don't want to drive it. The only way,
Just get an SUV. Get like a Tahoe.
Hear me out. The only way I would drive a minivan is if we get a Hellcat minivan.
Just don't get a minivan, period.
Get
a Suburban or a Tahoe.
Hellcat minivan. Now that's an idea.
Oh God, don't get him on another idea, y'all. Y'all have this bitch.
A Hellcat minivan, Jeremy?
I don't give a fuck.
If 700 horsepower minivan?
I don't give a shit if it's got 1,300 horsepower and lift the fucking front wheels off the ground. I ain't driving a goddamn minivan. I ain't want no minivan, dude.
Okay, where was that? Where was it? Kevin Woolsey Taylor, 20 years from now, you're going to be in an F-150 Lariat, and that is not a bad thing. I've had an F-150 Lariat, or Lariat, however you want to say it. I don't like them. I don't like F-150s for the most part. The only trim of an F-150 that I like right now, the only one, is a Raptor. That's it. The rest of them, I don't really care for the looks that much.
My general practitioner had a King Ranch that was pretty nice.
Nope, don't like it. I hate chrome.
It depends on what you're into. You know?
I hate chrome, and like so many trucks are just fucking puked on chrome. Like the manufacturer's like fucking chrome everything. I hate it.
You know what I don't like is too much rubber.
That's the way I like
too much rubber. Like I think some of the AT4s have the rubber, not rubber, but it's like a plastic trim.
Like the fender flares.
The only reason I don't like it, I like the way it looks. I don't have a problem with that. The only reason I don't like it is over time in Florida, that shit always goes kind of white. You've always got to like keep some kind of armor all on it or something to keep it from getting like chalky looking.
I thought you were going to say you didn't like big tires.
No, I like big tires. You fucking kidding me, dude? I had like a Jeep with fucking 38s on it. Or is it 38s? No, I'm sorry. They were 35, 1650 Super Swamper Boggers. You want to talk about a fucking tire that makes so much noise you can't hear yourself thinking that fucking thing? Dude, that thing is so loud. Super Swamper Boggers are the loudest fucking tires I've ever had on a car.
We have now talked more about trucks than when we did the truck episode. So I'm going to wrap this up.
That's true.
Yeah. So what I've got going on this week, I did a Harbor Freight thing, like the Lowe's video that I did a few weeks ago. I did that today. I love Harbor Freight. Like, I love and hate it. Like, it's so trash, but I love it.
There's a lot of stuff at Harbor Freight that's like, if you're not a professional and it's not something you're going to use all the time, you're just going to use it maybe a couple times a year, it's going to hold up fine, and you're going to save hundreds of dollars getting it Harbor Freight over
like a super sketch spring compressor kit.
Yeah, like, I mean, some of it, you don't want to get something that's going to be dangerous and you're going to hurt yourself. But I mean,
like a super cheap spring compressor.
Right. but there's definitely a place for Harbor Freight. I have definitely bought tools in the past at Harbor Freight that saved me hundreds of dollars for a tool that I needed like once or twice.
So that's what I got coming up on Friday, as well as the announcement for the Civivi giveaway. So I'm doing 5 knives that I'm giving away. I'm announcing the winners on Friday, and I have a 200,000 subscriber giveaway coming up on Best MEDC.
Shit.
Oh boy, you guys are going to like this giveaway. I've got a fully custom PM2. I have an Okluma DC0. I have one of my own wallets to give away. I have maybe a Marathon watch to give away, not mine, like a brand new one in box from Marathon. Dude, I got some tactile turn pins. I got some Big Idea design gear. I got a lot of stuff in this giveaway. I haven't totaled what it costs, but I would imagine the EDC that I'm giving away is like $3,000-ish.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
nice. It's a big giveaway for one winner.
That's a solid kit.
Yeah, you get a
solid bit of kit.
I think the only thing I haven't added to it that I should probably add is like a Lynch Northwest pry bar or something. And I think I can make that happen. So maybe I'll add that. But bear with me on the timing. I mean, I know it hit 200,000 a while back, but I wanted to make this giveaway worth it rather than just throw some shit together and say, here's a giveaway. I wanted to really put together a sick giveaway. So those are the things that I have coming up very soon. And I also have another Civivi giveaway because because
you know what?
they sent me like 20 knives and I'm like, I don't need all of these. It's over. The video's done. I don't need 20 Civivis. So I'm giving away some more of those.
Josh keeps bringing up Benchmade cutter. I'm trying to think. I think he talks about that. I do think, and I totally forgot about that. I think I have one of those Benchmade cigar cutters that I was going to do a giveaway on a while back. And then my end of my year blew up with the dad getting sick and all that. And I think I totally forgot about it. I think I still have that in there. Maybe we can give that away on the podcast one night.
Yeah, that'd be great. How do you enter the giveaway? I have not posted anything about it. It's not ready yet. I'll get there. If you want to enter the Civivi giveaway, so I've got 5 Civivi knives that I'm giving away. If you want to enter that, you only have like one more day, but go over to the Best Damn EDC YouTube channel, click on the Civivi video, watch it, and just comment below which knife you want out of all of the knives. And that's it. So I'm going to randomly choose some winners. First come, first serve. Like if I draw this one, which is the Dogma, I believe that's what this knife is. So if you comment, you want the Dogma, boom. If your comment comes up, you win the Dogma. That one's out of the running, and then whatever's left, So it's going to be first 5 that I draw, random selections. That's what you win. And it's international. I'll ship anywhere. If the knife doesn't show up, not much I can do about shipping a knife to a country that's customs are going to confiscate it. So
no, you can't. A couple people ask about whiskey knife I give away. Like I said, I do have that Benchmade cutter that maybe I have that. We'll do a giveaway on that real soon. And then we'll do it on here.
I'm pretty sure Jeremy said he was going to give away his Protex.
And I definitely did not. You got to give away a kidney to get one of those fucking knives. I got a couple man cards we're going to give away over a few weeks span on here. Man card version 1s. And then I have about a handful. I don't remember how many, not very many. And all these version 1 man cards, if you didn't get on the podcast before, are ones that I patinaed. They were extras we had, and he sent them to me, and I force patinaed them myself. And then I sent them back to Chad. We're going to give away a couple on the podcast, and then I'm going to drop the rest of them to sell at some point. But they're custom patinaed by me, version 1 of the man card.
He carried them in his gooch for a week.
Deep in the gooch.
Somebody
that makes them worth more money, doesn't it?
I don't think you're an e-girl, so
yeah, it's true.
You can't sell your bathwater.
That's disgusting, by the
way. Somebody asked earlier if I'm still doing a flashlight. So, unfortunate update on the flashlight. It has been canceled.
Yeah.
We worked on that for almost 8 or 9 months, and it just came out to be way too difficult. I got a prototype in hand, and I'm like, no, not going to happen. So we're starting over. We are doing a different flashlight. So flashlight's still on the board, but we're starting from scratch and doing something totally different. So yes and no. But I think that's it for now. You got something to add?
Just a side note on the man card version 2s that are going up for sale that I meant to mention. I forgot. There's only a few of them, and I always offer every limited drops to the Patreons first before I put them out to the general public. They may not make it out to the general public because there's really not a lot of them. I don't know how many of the Patreon people are going to want to snag these up, but there's really a extremely limited amount. So they might not make it to the general public. But like I said, if you're in the Patreon, you'll get a snag at them first. And we're going to do a giveaway on at least probably 2 of them on the podcast. So there'll be a couple opportunities.
All right. Well, with that said, if you want to follow us and learn more about all of these things we just talked about, like the giveaways we got going on and the stuff we're selling, all that stuff, all the links are in the show notes and the description down below. Follow Jeremy in all the places at just Jeremy Sires. I'm at Best MEDC in most places. And I think that's it. I'm going to go sleep. I'm so tired.
I'm going to
thank you guys. Thank you guys for hanging out with us for nearly 3 hours and sticking with us through all of these big gaps in the podcast. I'm not going to promise that we'll be back next week we hope to be back next week.
Well, we had talked. Let's just say this.
That's true. I totally forgot about that. Yes.
And I don't mean to be a Jeremy real quick Sires, but we had talked about, just for consistency's sake, because both of our schedules, it is difficult for us to be on here every single week. We had talked about going to a bi-weekly schedule of every other week.
Yeah, I think that's much more feasible.
Well, and that way it's more dependable, and you guys can know, like, these are the days we're going to be here, instead of us, having to cancel and not being there, and you think we're going to be here, and then that's kind of bullshit. We would like to be consistent with whatever the schedule is. So we may have to drop to an every other week thing just so we can be consistent. And then maybe down the road in a few months or something, once our schedules loosen up a little bit, potentially we can go back to the every week thing. We'll have to see. But
I'm about to bring an editor on, which is going to free me up a lot, I think, after we get like settled and trained and all that. But yeah, it's been a process. It's been a big process coming back after having baby number 2. So,
oh, dude, kids take up a lot of time, bro. It's a thing, but you got to be there for them, because they grow up and then you miss it and it's gone.
Yep.
So, but I just want to throw
just
that
like
out.
Us,
We got off.
we
Just so
are
people knew.
gone. And I just have one thing to add.
Oh God, are you going to end it with something fucked up? You are, aren't you?
I just say the last podcast we did, the ending was absolutely perfect. I played the "I love to gobble cock" soundbite.
You ended it like right at that. And I was like, "You motherfucker!" And you ended it like right.
And it cut you off. It's one of those, like, one of my favorite subreddits right now is perfectly cut screams. And you're like, "You got," and it just cut off. It was amazing.
Every time we go in there, they get in somebody's ass.
I don't know where the patina.
No,
I think it's page 2. I don't even know how to get to page 2.
Oh, that's a shame. Oh, too bad.
Oh, there it is.
No, you just can't. It'd be too shame. I wish I had. See, Taylor always starts the fucking podcast from his end, so I have no gobble cock ability to fucking stop it when I want to. He just keeps fucking. Take it easy. Long, slow pulls on it. Enjoy it. That's what it's for. Guys. I'm just saying. I hate you so bad.
All right. We'll see you guys later. Just know, not necessarily weekly anymore. We'll keep you updated.
Watch the Instagrams. That's where we always announce it.
That's exactly right.
You got a big old butthole if you're putting that big old thing in there, but hey.